The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, October 26, 2020, and the show begins right now. Shout out to that beat drop from our guy Twine. It is Overreaction Monday, October 26th, and this is a great one. We've learned so much about teams in the first 7 weeks of the NFL season, one season that we thought would never be able to get off the ground because of a worldwide pandemic. But games are being played. Some teams are playing at the highest rate we've seen in some time. Shout out to the Steelers being the only undefeated team left. Yes, the Steelers played the Tennessee Titans, and in the first half, it looked like the Pittsburgh Steelers might win by 60 to 70 points. But in the second half, and maybe it's because they played 3 games in 13 games or whatever, 13 days or whatever, but the Derrick Henry Tennessee Titans offense gave it one last burst. They were climbing back. They were pounding the Steelers. And then the Steelers just kept the foot on the throttle and ended up winning the damn game. Steelers are the most dominant team in the AFC. I think everybody can agree with that. They've been playing at the highest level, the most consistent throughout this entire season. That defense is going to be a goddamn problem for anybody. Not just in the AFC, in the entire NFL. The defense is unbelievable. They have a running game, obviously. But will they be able to, in the AFC chase, be able to keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs, who just beat the dog shit out of the Denver Broncos yesterday in a snow game in Denver, in the snow, which a lot of people wouldn't think at a high-powered offense would be able to do well in the snow like the Kansas City Chiefs, much like a Ferrari, Lambo, or any rear-wheel vehicle does in the snow. Everybody thought that would potentially fizzle them out. But on the contrary, Patrick Mahomes has said he thinks he's a snow game guy. Last year, whenever they played in the snow and everybody thought they were going to collapse, he was actually quoted on the sideline saying, I like this. Everybody's moving so slow, and I just sit back there and go, his exact words, boop, boop, boop. That's how he views the NFL right now. That is how he plays the football, although he only threw for 1 touchdown. They had a massive game over the Denver Broncos in the AFC, and they just added Le'Veon Bell, who got a couple touches yesterday, somehow, some way, out of nowhere. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a problem, but Le'Veon Bell being added to that entire thing is awesome, and their defense is actually the story of everything. Yesterday, the Kansas City Chiefs won 0-8 on third down. The defense led them and kept Denver under 20 points. The defense is great. The offense just added Le'Veon Bell, and they are off and running on all cylinders. The AFC looks to be a two-headed race almost at this point, unless the Titans can bounce back, which everybody thinks they can. Ravens come off of a bye week. Who knows how that'll go? They play the Pittsburgh Steelers next weekend. It feels like that whole world is really cooking at the top of the AFC. At the bottom of the NFC, it appears a team has fallen into that category just almost overnight at this particular point. There was a team up in New England for 20 years. Every other year, damn near, they were in the Super Bowl. They beat everybody. They'd go to the Super Bowl. They'd come back the next year, which everybody said was impossible. They debunked so many theories in the NFL's history. They'll be talked about as the greatest dynasty ever. Then Tom Brady and Bill Belichick got into it a little bit behind the scenes, if you read or agree with any of the stories that have come out. And Tom Brady wanted to go a different way, and Bill Belichick was going to, prove that he was the greatest coach of all time without Tom Brady. Go ahead and go down to Tampa Bay, Tom. No longer Tommy fucking Foxborough. Get the hell out of here. We'll be able to do our thing. They had Jared Stidham at quarterback, lined up to be the starting quarterback. They did not give a damn. Are we going to bring in more wide receivers because we didn't have any last year? No. It wasn't the wide receiver or the offense that we had. This was Tom Brady's fault for our failures last year on the offensive side of the ball. We'll be able to do this with Jared Stidham. Then, all of a sudden, they signed Cam Newton. And Cam Newton, who I thought looked to be in the best shape of his life, looked to be in the best mental place that he could possibly be if you wanted a competitive quarterback, signs for $1 million. He's the starter, and it gets off to a hot start. They get going. We are seeing Bill Belichick reinvent himself with Josh McDaniels and Cam Newton in this offense. And now here we are, just a few weeks after that in one COVID outbreak. And the New England Patriots seem to be dead.
Oh, God.
And I don't like to be the person that says that, but the Patriots are now under 500, at least 5 games into a season for the first time since 2002, says Field Yates. This is the first time the offense looks like it's lost, and the defense seems like it can't stop anything. The San Francisco 49ers offense looked awesome yesterday. Jimmy G looked dominant. Deebo Samuel, they are moving the rock. The 49ers scored 5 times at one point, and Cam Newton had only completed 6 passes. It is the complete opposite of what the New England Patriots have been for so long. And to be honest, it almost hurts my heart to watch. Ooh. Now, granted, a lot of people are celebrating and dancing on this particular fact that the Patriots are dead. And a lot of Patriots fans are kind of miserable about the whole thing. But what we have seen in New England was awesome for a long time. And now it seems like there is just a very, very new chapter in the NFL's AFC story. Will that get clipped later for a freezing cold take? Potentially. And that's why I will never bet against the Patriots, because I've been on the other sideline against the Patriots and lost by like 900 points. Bill Belichick somehow always wins when he's not supposed to win. Josh McDaniels always figures it out on the offensive side. And Ernie, the guy that's up in the sky, who's looking at, formation signals, whatever the hell he's looking at, it seems like they have football figured out this year for whatever reason. It's just not working. And it's not just Cam Newton, right? Cam Newton, obviously, since COVID, has been a very different quarterback. It's almost like COVID stole his joy, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't look like he's happy. Mm-hmm. You know those videos early from the season whenever he was dancing? Killing it. Skipping, doing the whole thing. Then he'd get on the game, same thing. Even if he wasn't playing his best, he was having a good time. It looks like those days are long gone now. Will he be able to find his joy again post-COVID? Jeff Garcia chewed him out. Wild. I mean, there's a lot of things that he said in there that people really, took in a fashion that was negative about old Jeff Garcia. I'm not sure what he said helped him out more so than helped Cam Newton out, but he went after Cam Newton for the way he dresses, and he's not playing well, and you need not dress like that. And Jeff Garcia, by the way, has been on our show like 3-4 times. Always a good conversation with us. Whenever that video hit the internet, I was like, damn, I did not know this was like what Jeff Garcia would do. I did not expect that to come out there. But Cam Newton said, you know what, you're right. I agree with him. He's right. I'm not going to change the way I clothe, but I haven't been playing the way that I should play if I want to be Cam Newton, or whatever the hell he said. Cam Newton took the high road. Very nice of him to do that. Let's cause no drama here. I agree with him. I'm going to keep it moving. Jeff Garcia went after him. And the reason why everybody now has turned to how Cam Newton's performing and how the New England Patriots are performing is because if you watched a game in the desert last night in a place called the Death Star, there's a quarterback playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that looks better than he has ever looked in his entire career at this point. There's a guy who's 43 years old who eats avocado ice cream who has just been dominant, not only in like the dinks and dunks, which everybody thought was all he could do with running backs at New England, because they only really gave him one good deep threat. If you look through his entire roster of wide receivers at New England, Randy Moss was the only guy who really ever had, that was a super deep threat. Is that right, Connor?
AB for a game last year, but yeah,
yes.
Randy Moss.
So maybe we're getting a chance to see Tom Brady be even better than he was in New England, because this is the first time where he just has a plethora of weapons. He's overdosing on talent around him on the offensive side of the ball. Bruce Arians, Byron Leftwich, and he have crafted that offense into be one that Tom loves. A lot of play action in there. Bruce Arians loves to do the 7-step drop. Hold my dick. I'm going to throw the ball as hard as I can. Tom Brady's like, we can't be doing that. I'm not getting hit like that. It's kind of transformed a little bit. Now they're finding people that I'd never even heard of. Rob Gronkowski's all the way back. The offensive line seems to be protecting. Chris Godwin just scored a tutty yesterday that was awesome, where he screamed, let's fucking go, right into a microphone on the side of the field. Then Tom Brady comes over and yells the same exact thing. That team seems to be really, Mike Evans didn't get targeted a lot yesterday, drew a couple fouls, but that's going to be a part of it. Whenever Mike Evans gets doubled or whatever happens, okay, now we got Godwin, by the way, now Gronk is going to start getting covered because everybody's realizing it's the same Gronk. So now Godwin, Evans, and potentially Antonio Brown, LeGarrette Blount, not Le'Veon Bell, LaShawn McCoy, I think, is still on that team down there. Rojo's down there. He is dominant. And if you're a Patriots fan, I want to let you know, watching Tom Brady do this is probably tough. It's probably no fun, because there was a chance that the Patriots could have brought Tom back, everybody's thinking. And maybe that could have been settled years ago. And now you have to watch him basically at his new home play football almost better than he ever played for you. See that he's enjoying himself down there. And I'm going to tell you, he's probably going to win a Super Bowl too. If history is even ever told you. And I'm just telling you from personal experience here, because I had to do that with Peyton Manning. You see, with Peyton, whenever he left, he got cut by the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts cut Peyton Manning. There was a whole press conference, hey, I appreciate my time here. I'm going to be a free agent, the whole thing. And everybody in the building was like, oh, they just cut Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning just got cut in the NFL. That is wild. What's going to happen next? And then it's like, well, we got Andrew Luck. He's the quarterback of the future, the next phenom. And he was and all that. But while we did get the future and the phenom and a guy that was very, very, very good, there was just a highlight reel happening in Denver every fucking weekend. He threw 55 touchdowns in one season over there, something that had never been done before. He looked like he was better than he's ever been. He was running and scrambling and he went to a couple Super Bowls. He won one. And we just had to sit there and be like, yes, Andrew Luck is awesome. We love Andrew Luck. But also, for those of us that were here beforehand, we knew that sumbitch still had years left. We knew that he could still play football, but business gets in the way, had to cut him. He goes on. So if you're a Patriot fan, you probably know, we knew Tom still had great football left in him. We knew he was going to be unbelievable, but we're a Bill Belichick town, and now you're watching just the Patriots go the opposite direction, and Tom go this direction, and it just feels like he's not just looking like he's 30 years old again. All the stats say he's playing like it's 2007 again. Is the avocado ice cream and the pliability and all that bullshit, is it like Benjamin Button?
It is. Perhaps.
In 2007, at the age of 30, he had a 70% completion percentage at this point, 9.1 yards per attempt, 122.6 passer rating. Holy shit, this guy is crushing it.
Not bad.
What a year this is, they're saying. At the age of 30, he started. Now at the age of 43, in 2020, old Tommy Foxborough is 72% completion, 2% better, 9.4 yards per attempt, 0.3 yards further, which would be a foot. Shout out to me. And 123 passer rating, which is better than his passer rating whenever he was 30 years old. That team just added Antonio Brown. The defense, Derek Carr didn't have that bad of a game, to be honest with you, but the defense did ultimately dominate the offense. It's just the way that team is shaping, it looks like the Patriots fans are going to have to just watch that for probably the next couple years, it feels like. The way the commentators were talking about it is like, yeah, he signed a 2-year deal, but he might play till he's 50 or something. If you have to sit for another 7 years watching that could be tough. But this is the exact same feeling that Colts fans had when Peyton left, when we knew he could still play. We knew the whole thing. This is the same exact situation. And no, he only played a few more years, and the wheels eventually came off. That team became a defense-led team. But for the first couple of years over there, we're just watching Peyton Manning lead another AFC franchise right to the Super Bowl. And it was wild. You guys are going to have to do it. It's going to be the NFC. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometime. I still have faith that Belichick will be able to bring the Patriots back. I will never bet against them. But those are the big storylines from the weekend. There's some other shit that happened. Kyler Murray gets a big dub on Sunday Night Football at home against Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. And the story might be of that game that Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions in a Sunday Night Football game on the road in the division. But I don't think that's an accurate storyline. Russell Wilson was awesome last night. Absolutely awesome. And I think that's why stats can sometimes get a little, twisted or kind of shaped in any story that you want to tell. Russell threw 3 picks last night, which I don't think he's ever done before, or maybe hasn't in a long, long time, whatever it is. And he looked dominant last night. They should have won that game numerous times. Us Cards bettors were sitting there thinking, I'm not 100% sure we're going to be able to pull this off. I didn't know why I thought that the Cards were going to be able to do what they did. But Kyler Murray, that offense, that defense, which did get picked apart quite a few times by no fault of their own. Russell Wilson was dropping balls literally into baskets. But Kyler Murray, that Arizona Cardinals team, Cliff Kingsbury, he had to make a lot of decisions late that a lot of people were questioning on the internet. He ends up getting a win against the Seahawks, and now the Cardinals are right in it in the greatest division in football right now, which is the NFC West. They should be absolutely thrilled with where they're headed. Great Sunday night football game. I stayed up until the very end of it. I was like, damn, it's getting late. Damn, it's getting late. Wow, this game is awesome, though. Yep. It was an incredible weekend of football that we have to talk about, and we got to get to all of it. Joining me, at Tone Diggs with the hat. Great gambling weekend. It felt like almost all the public money won this weekend, which is good news for everybody.
Yeah, I think so. You were 5-0 on Hammered Don.
No big deal.
Lombardi was 3-0. Gumpy was 5-1. I was 4-1. Probably just the hottest gambling show on earth, I'd imagine.
Wow. See, whenever I heard about those stats from everybody, and I saw it on Twitter at Hammered Don, DAHN, I saw how good of a weekend everybody had. I was like, oh, that just must be everybody won this weekend. That has to be the case. But our show, if people want to say everybody won or whatever, cool, we're just going to continue to do that, though. It feels like we are very, very hot right now. It feels like everything's kind of getting figured out. What teams are what teams, who's what. And I feel like at Hammered Don, which is on Monday, Thursday, Friday, some good fucking picks coming out of there. If you're trying to get a little bit of money. Now, listen, only bet what you want to lose or whatever. You know, you got to act like it's casino money. But we're making people a lot of fucking money. I saw a guy that parlayed like 8 of our picks that all hit or whatever. Mm-hmm. Guy made over like $700, $800 or something like that. It's like, let's go. Let's make money for the people, Ton.
People were trying to tell you that everyone won? That's what happened?
Yeah, I felt like I got some tweets.
It's like 86% of the money was on the Seahawks.
Losers.
And 89% of the money was on the Titans.
Whoa. Loser.
I don't think they covered it.
I can't believe that, by the way. Everybody was talking about how the Steelers didn't play anybody. You have no idea who they are or whatever. Those people didn't watch any of the Steelers games, I don't think, going into that. Because when you watch that defense live and you get to watch it week in, week out, and then you watch other games, you're like, oh, this defense is a lot different than everybody else. And I thought they were going to be able to, withstand the Derrick Henry onslaught. Mm-hmm. And there was a couple times where I thought, oh, no, Derrick Henry got to him because they'll just keep feeding him. Second half, they feel like you're tired and beat up and you still got to be able to tackle him. But that defense is a game changer, an absolute game changer. And I assume the Titans and Steelers will play each other again at some point down the road. But that defense is unbelievable right now.
Yeah, he had the second lowest rushing total in his last 16 games. I think Tannehill threw for 220, and I think 80 of it came on one play to A.J. Brown. Defense played really well. Special teams had a huge punt return. Ben looked good. I mean, he gave the ball to them a couple times because he felt bad for him, but other than that, it was
it's fair. That's kind of what Russell Wilson did last night. Yeah. It felt like that's what Russell Wilson was doing. 3 picks out of Russ last night. And I got a bunch of people tweeting me like, oh, that's all you're going to talk about. It's like, to be honest, while watching, I didn't even realize it was really 3 until I saw him throw one. And I was like, I think that's his fucking second interception. And then the third, I was like, oh, that is his third interception or whatever. The one where Patrick Peterson got in the corner, I thought that was a stupid play. I think he was trying to throw that away. It might have been a broken play, and it was kind of a miss. So that one was done. The one where he had to get it over the linebacker, and he just floated it too much, and Buda Baker got it. And then DK Metcalf, maybe the most awesome thing I've seen on a football field in a long time. Yep. Long time. You can get big plays and everything like that. DK Metcalf deciding, it was almost, I think Julio Jones did this a couple years back. It was almost like, I think Pierre Garçon too, whenever we were playing back in like 2012, somebody said, hey, this reminds me of Pierre in the year. And I do remember Pierre chased one down and punched the ball out. I think it was against the Patriots. It was awesome. Like it was one of those moments. Anytime a wide receiver just like tries on those plays or a quarterback tries, you're always like, okay, a big hit's going to come. That DK Metcalf hawk of Buda Baker was awesome. I mean, that was just, and Buda Baker said, hey, he hawked me, man, respect. Like, there ain't nothing you could do because there's nothing Buda could do. That was fucking cool. And then obviously no points come of that. So it's massive. Good for DK Metcalf with one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
I saw Buda ran like a 4.45 at the combine, so he's not slow. Like, DK is just an absolute freak.
Yeah, he is not slow. Buda Baker is a savage, though, that guy. At Boston Connor, good to see you. The Patriots seem to be dead, yeah?
Yeah, it is what it is, 2-4. Whatever Bill wants to do, let's just follow Bill.
How about watching Tom, though? Is that interesting?
It is interesting. I'm honestly, at this point, just glad he has an offense that actually, mimics his talent. Because even if he was on the Patriots, I don't know if he could help because our wide receivers are that bad.
Yeah, see, that's very interesting you say that because, I guess that's kind of what we thought with Denver. It was like, you know what? They seem to be running the same offense as us up there, but he's just throwing touchdowns every time he throws the fucking ball at this point. You know, you just got to sit there and take it, I guess. But that Tampa team, I think, is only getting better. Like, I think they're only getting better. Adding Antonio Brown, are you thinking like, oh no, if it's not broke, why are we trying to fix it? What the fuck? This could be catastrophic. I don't think that. I think that locker room is like, hey, here we are. We're playing football. We're winning a Super Bowl here. And hopefully Antonio Brown's the same way. And Bruce Arians, we have a clip of it. We'll listen to it here in a little bit, probably on the other side of the Travis Kelce interview we have in 4 minutes, which means we have to get to a break now. He basically said like, hey, if what he did was true, the court case will figure it out.
Yeah.
It's coming up. He'll be gone. Which, by the way, if he's guilty, I think everybody in the NFL and ever is like, hey, justice should be served as hard and punished as possible. And if not, okay, let's move on and see if he can not be a complete disaster in a locker room like he has been the last couple of stops that he had. Because in Pittsburgh for a long time, a lot of success.
Oh, yeah.
Ton.
With Tom there for 1 week, a lot of success.
It was awesome.
Who knows how this is going to go, but they're only going to get better. Good for them. This is the Pat McAfee Show, at Viva Lazito, at Ty Schmitter here, and all the boys are in the back. We got Travis Kelce joining us on the other side here on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. Go to the bathroom. Can't wait to chat with Killer Trav. We also have Ian Rappaport, fresh off his suspension, Darius Butler, and Matt Hasselbeck. Let's have an Overreaction Monday. We'll see you on the other side. I like the Panthers as well, plus 7.5, strictly because of Emmanuel Sanders, Michael Thomas. I feel like there's a little beef. This suspension of Michael Thomas for being disrespectful to the coach makes me feel like there is potentially some shit stirring down in the locker room. 7.5 is a lot of points for that Carolina Panthers team, who seems to play everybody pretty close. Matt Rule seems to have that DNA. I'm not 100% sure. The Saints could just absolutely do this thing. It just doesn't feel like it. To me, 7.5 is a good number there. I also like the Pittsburgh Steelers, plus 1.5.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is, whenever we get past this season and look back on it, will be historically talked about. I think they are that type of defense. They are game wreckers, Paisan.
I agree. They're good.
And I also like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, minus 4.5 against the Las Vegas Raiders, where they play that on Sunday, or if another positive test comes tomorrow, they play it on Monday or Tuesday. I think that Todd Bowles defense knows exactly what they're fucking doing now at this point. And I think Tom Brady, with Gronk back, 100 yards receiving, touchdown, all that stuff, the Gronk being back is a massive ordeal. And I like the Cardinals plus 3.5 at home against Russell Wilson.
Don't back down from it. I mean, I wouldn't take it with Russell Wilson, but my power rankings say the Cardinals should be the favorite in the game. Okay, that makes me feel good, because when your power rankings and I are on the same side, good things happen, much like what happened last night. I like the Cardinals plus 3.5 at home against Seahawks.
We have the Georgia Southern University Eagle. From the bad boys of the Sun Belt. Yeah. The Beach Boys. Yeah. The Coastal Carolina University. So you.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on this Monday, October 26th, 2020. Joining us now is a man who, I'll tell you what, might be the most fashionable human I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
Yesterday, 2 days ago, coming off a plane, he was wearing an outfit that might have been the nicest outfit I've ever seen in my life, and also most expensive outfit I've ever seen in my entire life. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who's been around for a long, long time. One of the greatest tight ends of all time, I think we can say at this point. From the undefeated... Nope, not undefeated. They lost to the Raiders. But you get it. Kansas City, the reigning champions.
Hell yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, Travis Kelce. How are you, man?
Hey, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I'm a big fan of the show. I'm just, I'm happy to be sitting here talking to the boys, man.
No, we are thrilled to have you on here, brother. The goatee is fantastic. You got the hair on the top at this point. I do believe. That's like the, I think I saw a pinky ring on you the other day, couple chains.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta
keep that pinky ring on you, baby.
Come on, need it. What has this year been like for you, Trav? It looks like you guys are enjoying the hell out of this whole thing, being the target on everybody's minds every single week.
I mean, just attacking the day. I mean, we know what we have in the building, and that's a Super Bowl caliber team. It is what it is, man. We feel confident with the pieces that we have, as well as the new additions that we just got in 2-6, Lev Bell coming through and just coming in with energy and a whole lot of swagger, man. And it juices everybody. You know how swagger is contagious, man. And we just keep building this beast.
Especially in the middle of the season here, we're far enough into the season, especially with all these COVID protocols where you can't see the beginning and the light at the end of the tunnel is still very, very far away. So having a new guy come in with a lot of energy, I didn't even think about that potentially being a big benefit in the locker room. Have you gotten a chance, obviously, to get to know him yet? Did you guys know him whenever he came in, and what were the immediate thoughts?
Well, I knew him just from being around the league and playing the Steelers so much. One of my friends actually played with him at Michigan State, so I ended up kind of having a mutual friendship with him. And as he came here into Kansas City, I mean, it was you could see it in the first walkthrough, man. The guy was excited. He's ready to learn. There's a lot to learn in this offense because Coach Reed can put you in so many different places. So it's for him to be a professional, just come in ready to learn like a rookie in the building, like a first year guy, man. Just excited to be around a winning football team, man. It's definitely been a blessing to see that, and it's refreshing, man. You see kind of the same guys every single week, and it kind of get caught up in the routine of things. And when you get that little sprinkle of a new magic, man, it's fun.
Yeah, what is that offense that you refer to? Because it feels like Andy Reid. Okay, he goes to a dry race sport. And he gets like a blue, a red, a green, whatever it is. And he just, because of how many weapons you guys have, like, so all the weapons, you guys have so many explosive players. And we'll talk about how the fuck you guys are keeping them all on the team still. We'll talk about that at some point, including yourself. Congrats on the new contract. You deserve it. But it feels like he just goes over $100 million earned, by the way, through your NFL career. Woo!
Still gotta earn it, baby. Still gotta earn it.
Yeah. But those Louis boots come with.
They were comfortable.
Yeah.
They kept my toes warm in the weather out there. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, this outfit right here. If we had to guess price on it.
Oh man, I can't even. I can't look at price tags, man. I just go for the
That's my boy. Can't hide it. It's one of the nicest outfits I've ever seen in my entire life, being 100% candid. And then
you're a big leather pants guy?
I love it.
Leather pants guy?
Love it. Love what you got going. I would never wear it, but other humans wearing it, I'm a big fan. Then you have like the 50-cent mask on, though. That was the only thing. We thought you should have had like maybe a, you know what I mean? Like a.
I always screw up with the mask. I don't know what it is. I just take the one that's like closest to me.
Yeah.
And usually it's just a box of ones as you're leaving the facility.
Yeah.
You know, you just grab a blue one, you just keep it going. You're right, I have to get better with the mask.
Yeah,
it always just throws it off.
Yeah, this outfit, look at I mean, this is like an award-winning costume you have on here, hopping off the plane, like greatest costume, game day costume of all time. And then the mask is like, Okay, all right, we can get that mask at CVS right down here in the street. But other than that, Travis, thank you for remaining humble with the mask. But let's get back to this offense. You guys have so many weapons. I feel like Andy Reid just goes to a dry erase board and just starts drawing different routes for everybody. Do you guys have to memorize concepts? Do you have to, what goes into that offense? Because it feels like you guys have a never-ending supply of plays. It's almost like a new play can be created on a spot.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what it is. You'll see a lot of different variations of concepts, kind of mix matching certain concepts together. But for the most part, it's a new game plan every single week. So you really have to lock in Monday through Saturday on trying to stay in tune with why we're calling the plays, why we're doing things like this. Because the one thing Coach Reid does unbelievable is he matches up everything. So you'll get the same formation with about 5 different routes and 5 different variations of what we're doing within that certain set of formations. And it takes off. It puts you, what it does for you as a player is it puts you in a position to succeed. It makes the guy across from you have to play reactionary football. And if you're on your P's and Q's and you're doing the fundamentals the right way, you're working on your stuff throughout the week. You know what I mean? It sets you up to have success on Sundays, and that's why you love Coach Reid and this offensive scheme. Well,
then you guys added in this power game where it's like we'll ground and pound if we have to with CEH or whatever. Was that something you think that Andy and you guys did a little self-scout on the offense? It was like, hey, we also have to be able to ground and pound this thing out and to be able to have that attitude? Or was it just like this Clyde guy is a fucking animal? Like, we should think about getting this guy the ball as much as possible? Or does it open up everything else, or all things that I just said there?
It's exactly what you just said. I mean, what it does for the offensive linemen, you know what I mean? They can come off the ball and not have to worry about pass setting and trading off blocks and stuff like that. They can just come off the ball and maul a dude and create a new line of scrimmage. What that does for them is it puts them in a way easier, way better situation throughout the course of the game when we do have to throw the ball in a 2-minute drill or towards the end of the game when we have to run the ball. It gives them that gritty mentality, just coming off the ball and mauling dudes. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to run the ball in the NFL. You know what I mean? This game has changed a lot in terms of how much we pass, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to run the ball to win a football game. And getting that going is always, is always key.
I haven't been paying attention enough. Are you out there throwing your body around? You big blocking tight end right now?
I got to, man. This is a team game, man. I'm out here. We got goons in the back. Guys that can take it to the house. So how can you not get excited about blocking for the guys in the backfield and just trying to be a more accountable football player altogether? You know what I mean? Being open for Pat when another guy gets a pass or catches a pass, trying to find an extra body and just trying to always, be there for my teammates, man. I think over the course of my career, I haven't shown enough of that. And this year, without a doubt, I'm definitely trying to throw my body around a little bit more and show everybody I'm a complete football player, man.
How much does winning a Super Bowl change everything? Like workouts? Does it change any? Like the knowledge that your team can win it is one that is very powerful to have. I think going into workouts, meeting, is it that big of a change and a factor? You think after winning it, it's like, we've got a chance to taste it. Now let's do it again.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it was always, for my 7 years here, we were kind of the little brother to a lot of teams in the AFC. And I hate to say that. It burns me to say that. But it is what it is. And we just couldn't get over the hump. And then we got this guy, Patty Mahomes. And all of a sudden we became the favorites. And everybody expects us to be great on every single play. And winning the Super Bowl, that just it boosts your level of confidence. I mean, you walk in the building knowing you can fix something, you can fix whatever's wrong, or you can keep getting better and still be, at the top of the league, at the top of the charts. And the confidence and the leadership and the culture, everything that's in place here is set up for us to win another Super Bowl. And as long as we just keep that fighting mentality, that grit that we had last year, that we got right now, man. It's fun.
So whenever you guys made that move, that's awesome, by the way. I don't want to act like that wasn't a really cool answer. That was a cool answer, okay? Great answer there, dude. I want to let you know it was a great answer, really good answer there. And something I never experienced because Drew Brees and his stupid baby beat us in the Super Bowl or whatever my rookie year.
Troy Polamalu. I mean, there's a few.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thanks. Okay, thanks.
By the way, I'm wearing the Bearcats just to kind of reference. I don't know if you remember the 2008 West Virginia Cincinnati Bearcats game.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. It was about this close from being the worst game of my life to, you know what I mean, just a fantastic finish. We had Pat McAfee rallying the Mountaineers into OT and then kicks what could be the game-winning field goal in OT.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And then Tony Pike and the boys, man.
Yeah.
Tony Pike and the boys just came through like Cincinnati Bearcats do. And the old Big East, man. Yeah. You got to love the Big East, man. Shout out to the old school Big East. Some of the best football you ever see, man.
I agree. By the way, like 4 straight BCS wins back in the day. The Big East back in the day was humming. We had Louisville, Cincy, us obviously. Rutgers back in the day had a team whenever they were running. I mean, we had a real run there. In that game, you could have just gave it to me because, the year before that, I missed those kicks against Pitt. That night was like a Big East championship game, basically. I hit an onside kick. We get it, 52-yarder, send it to overtime, 40-some yarder. Oh, my God.
Jeez.
I've never seen fans. I mean, you guys were down 20 with like 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
I've never seen fans leave the building and come flying back in the stadium. And it was like it was empty for the entire fourth quarter. And then with 2 minutes left, that thing was packed to the T all over again. Yeah. It was like they said, I don't care if you got a ticket, just get back in here.
Yeah.
And it was off the wall. When you hit that field goal to take it into OT, I was sitting in the stands. I had a broken foot. I was there with my family just trying to enjoy my brother playing football. I got hit with about 4 beer cans. Because, in college, the family sections they're all right together. So Cincinnati, there's that one little side kind of
corner
by the tunnel in the corner.
Yeah.
Cincinnati fans, it's all family. Nobody else is really traveling to West Virginia in college, so it's just like the entire family's just getting showered as this game's going into OT. And I was like, I've always had an appreciation for West Virginia fans, though, man. I was once trying to be a Mountaineer, actually, for Bobby Huggins and the boys. Yeah.
Oh, for hoops! Wow. I forgot how good you were at basketball. I forgot you were like a stud basketball player.
I wouldn't say stud. I couldn't dribble to save my life, but I could put up points. I could take you in the post and go to work.
No handles. No handles at all.
No, I mean very little. If I got a rebound, I was trying to push the fast break every time, and about 1 out of every 5 pushes, it would go off my knee. Or
kick
you know what I mean? Turnover city. But I found my way on the field pretty quick.
I think you made the right decision. $100 million.
Wow.
Hey, that is a lot. But I picked the Cincinnati Bearcats to be in the college football playoff this year on College Game Day. I have them going.
I heard that. I got me fired up too. And I tell you what, getting inside the top 10, ranked 7th in the AP polls right now.
And then just smacking SMU. Right, and then they just smacked SMU this past weekend, which was supposed to be a big time. Like Fickle's got a squad. They got like a squad over there.
I'll tell you what, it's back to the days that we were running the Big East. I hate to throw that at you like that.
Yeah, fuck you.
But it was it's fun. It's fun to just see. You know what good football is when you see guys flying around, having fun, chest bumping, ringing the bells on the sidelines, doing the interception dunks and everything. You know what I mean? You just see guys enjoying themselves in college football. You know what teams are going to have the juice and which teams don't, man. And right now, Fickle's got the guys playing their tail off, man, and it's fun to watch.
I agree completely. Let's talk about your team here while we have a couple minutes left. I appreciate it. Whenever you guys make that move from Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes outside the locker room, it was wild. It was like Alex Smith just had like an MVP-like season. He was going. It was Andy Reid's. Everybody knows Andy Reid's playbook is so big. Alex Smith is probably only going to get better in that playbook. Send him out. Okay, see you later. Not coming back. You're going to Washington. And now it's Patrick Mahomes' team. What he has been able to accomplish in such a short time is stupid. And he said on LeBron James's barbershop show that he didn't start learning how to read a defense until like halfway through last season or something like that. With all the offenses that you say, like all the route concepts and how everything has to go, and now he's learning defense. Like, what is it about him in between the years that just makes him the guy? I mean, obviously he can make every throw, but in between the years, it seems like he's the guy.
Yeah, and honestly, that's where he separates himself is the confidence. I mean, his arm is second to none. I think him and Aaron Rodgers are probably the two that can sling it the best in the league. Just anywhere on the field, from whether it's back foot, across whatever throw you need, those two can make it. But what separates Pat is his mentality, man. As soon as the game's over on Sunday, he's in the building. Monday, I just saw him 2 seconds ago walking around trying to get better. What he does in terms of preparation, you talked about it. You touched on how he said he didn't know how to read defenses. I think it was a little bit exaggerated. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could look at the film and see whether it was a 2 high safety or a 1 high safety and go from there. But I think it's more so being confident in what he's seeing, and what that is it's a lot of work. It's a lot of repetition. It's a lot of film watching, being confident in what you're seeing out there on the field so you can make the right instinctual decisions, because you don't got a whole lot of time to think back there as a quarterback once the ball snapped. You got to start making instinctual decisions. And his instincts, I mean, you want to talk about some of the best the game has ever seen in terms of throwing the ball. I'm going to say it right now. He's the best in the game at doing that.
Tomorrow morning, there's going to be a lot of sports talk shows that go, Travis Kelce says that Patrick Mahomes is the best instinctive quarterback in the NFL. Do you agree or disagree? Well, I disagree with that, motherfucker. And then the other one, I completely agree with him. That's classic TV. What do you got, pal?
Mr. Kelce, you are technically, and I think everybody can agree, the best tight end of the game. And yesterday was National Tight End Day. So my question for you is, did Patrick Mahomes get you like a car or a jet ski because he just got $500 million or what?
Yeah, what was the gift for Tight End Day?
He got me the best gift you can give a tight end on National Tight Ends Day, and that's a fucking W. It's the best, man. I just say shout out to George Kittle, because when he started the National Tight End Day, I did not think it was going to run like this, and they turned it into literally a national holiday, because we were all tight ends all over the league. We're all over the internet, all over social media, catching touchdowns, getting praised, and I think it's just awesome for the position, knowing that we've always kind of been that secondary position, whether it's getting paid or getting the recognition. The tight end group has always just been let's just be the utility guys. If you need us, we're here for you to make it right, and it's cool to see us finally starting to get a little love.
Travis, the tight end position, I would assume 7 years ago, was nowhere near valued what it is now. It was probably like a couple, you have a blocking tight end and then you have a pass catching tight end. Now it's become this hybrid position where it's you're damn near a wide receiver some games, and then obviously you're in there throwing your body. At what point did you realize, like, okay, the tight end's about to become one of the most valuable positions in football? Like, did you see it coming as the game was changing a little bit?
It was 1 year, man. It was 2011. You had the Jimmy Graham and the Rob Gronkowski. They were just going back and forth every single week of just breaking each other's records. Both had over 1,000 yards and I think over 10 touchdowns. And that's when it really took off, because you had these huge physical specimens just running over, jumping over defenses, catching the ball. And it became such an unbelievable weapon that everybody was talking about. Everybody was raving about it. And from that point on, I think the tight end position just been used completely different. I think the athletes have always been there. You look at Kellen Winslow Sr., he was an unbelievable athlete back in the day. Guy like Shannon Sharp, Tony Gonzalez, those guys were unbelievable athletes. I don't think the athlete has changed much. I just think the accountability and how much we're being used more in the offense has gone up. And, that's in my position, that shout out to Coach Andy Reid for dialing up the plays for me. But I think it just keeps going from here. And it's such a unique position because you got size and speed. It's like being that dual forward. You can, if you're a power forward, you're not quite a power forward. You're not quite a wing forward in basketball. You're just that guy that if the guy's bigger than you can take him out to the wing. If he's smaller, you can take him down to the post. But you always have an advantage. And, that's what I love about being in the position.
Well, you do it really well, man. You're really, really good.
I love it, man. I love it.
$100 million, dude.
You gotta be kidding me.
Playing football, bro. Wow. Playing football, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty. It's very fortunate, very fortunate. And I have who I have to thank is Mick Cronin. Mick Cronin he's a college basketball coach for UCLA now, but he was a college basketball coach at Cincinnati.
Kind of a little head.
Oh yeah,
kind of has like a little head, right? If I'm thinking,
yeah, fiery guy, man. Yeah. Fiery guy. He told me I tried to play basketball my senior year. After my senior year of football happened and the draft was coming around, I was like, man, I just don't want to live down playing in the Big East and possibly playing in Madison Square Garden in the Big East tournament, man. I just don't want that to pass me by and have regrets of it. And he looked at me and said, "No, you're about to go make millions in the NFL. I'm not. There's no way I'm letting you play basketball." I still hate him to today because I ended up going to the Kansas City Chiefs that year, and I don't know if it would have been the same if I would have played.
All right, here's the deal. You run out Madison Square Garden, we'll get our 5, you get your 5, you'll fucking play basketball in there.
Let's go.
Ladies and
Dreams come true, baby.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, one day after National Tight End Day, tight end of the day for us, from the Kansas City Chiefs in the University of Cincinnati Bearcat, Travis Kelce. Thank you.
Fellas, anytime, man.
Appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you again. Good luck.
You know it. Thank you.
Good dude.
Glad you.
That's our first real conversation. Like, we've had conversations on field, dap up, how's it going? Follow you, appreciate you, that type of thing, interaction. Then Monday Night Football, whenever they played the Rams in LA.
Oh, yeah.
I was there, like, the greatest Monday Night Football game of all time. I was walking around the field or whatever. He caught a pass, like, right in front of me. He had some feathers in his cleats or something. They were awesome looking or whatever. And I was like, those cleats are awesome. And he said something he referenced something in my life that I had just done. I'm like, oh my God. He was like, yeah, how are you? We had a full embrace on the sideline. This was right in front of like 10 ESPN executives or whatever. There's a bunch of people all around there. And then he just leaves or whatever. I was like, God damn. These people have to be so confused why this guy with a sleeveless hoodie on over here is just getting all these conversations. But he's been very nice to me, always has been. And that conversation with him was awesome. I'm a big fan of Travis Kelce. Yeah. He's very good at the football.
I had no idea he was also very good at the basketball, aside from dribbling.
Well, he can't dribble for shit, but the guy can play basketball or whatever.
Post moves.
Diggs wanted me to tell him about my formation I have with Clyde Edwards-Helaire to the left of Patrick Mahomes, and then Le'Veon Bell to the right of Patrick Mahomes, and then Tyreek Hill behind Patrick Mahomes. Mostly, I didn't want to suggest that to him because I didn't want Andy Reid to think it was anybody else's idea other than his. I'd assume he already has that some bitch drawn up. You know what I mean? I'm sure he already has it, and if he thinks somebody else is already thinking about it, I don't want to ruin it potentially.
True.
At Viva Lazito here on this Monday, October 26th, what is your poll and what are the results currently?
So I had 2 polls. I had to cancel one of them because it was so one-sided. So I'll go with the second one. Who are we hammering tonight? Bears. They're plus 6, 67%. Rams minus 6, 33%.
What was your other one that was so heavy?
It was actually who has had a more successful 2020 season, Brady or Belichick, and Brady 94.1% and Belichick 5%.
Interesting you say that because one of at Viva Lazito's big old polls just a couple weeks ago was who will have a more successful 2020 NFL season, Tom Brady or Bill Belichick, basically. Yeah. And with over 14,000 votes cast, 68.6% said Bill Belichick. What have you done for me lately should be the name of our polls. They're out on Bill Belichick. Now they're all in on Tom Brady. Yeah. Quite a fickle poll you're running over there, Zito.
I know, very fickle. I don't know what that means, but I like it.
If you had to guess what Fickle meant, not Luke Fickle, not the head coach of Cincinnati, who's doing a great job with those boys.
He's not fickle.
What's that?
He's not a fickle human being.
No, he's actually pretty steadfast. Actually, fickle means if you just heard all these potential clues of what it means. What do you think fickle means?
When you get touched, you laugh a lot.
Oh, ticklish. That is also something, but what we said was fickle with an F.
Oh, that's on me.
Yeah, you see. Fickle is, if you had to guess what the word
I'm going to guess vulnerable.
Huh? I mean, potentially.
Can we use it in a sentence?
What's that?
Can we use it in a sentence?
The crowd was very fickle.
Loud.
In their reaction to Tone Diggs.
Ooh.
I'm fickle.
Oh, mad, angry.
Or, on the opposite.
Happy.
There it is.
Wow. Really?
Now you're describing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Happy Tony.
Changing your mind on things is normally what
I like that.
Means. Yeah. I think you did a fantastic job. Let's go to Alex in Massachusetts. Alex, what's going on?
Hey, Pat. I was just calling in to say, happy Overreaction Monday.
Thank you.
You
too.
And all the boys.
Yeah, thank you.
I wanted to give a quick shout out to my brother Prosser because he was a friend and he told a friend. And
nice. Yeah, shout out to Crosser for sure.
Yeah.
More so than you, but what's going on?
I just want to know, do you think after watching Mike McCarthy's post-game press conference, is he just totally done? He did not look at all happy.
The thing about it, thank you, Crosser and Alex from Massachusetts for everything that they did. That Dallas Cowboys team, and this was Dan Orlovsky's big take, and the internet felt the same way. And it's the same thing that happened whenever Pouncey got into a fight with Myles Garrett after Myles Garrett took Mason Rudolph's helmet off of his head and then hit him with it. And Pouncey basically pounded him. I mean, like picked him up to the ground and was swinging on him. And a lot of people were like, well, what Pouncey did wasn't right either, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then you heard every single player in the NFL that has ever played go like, no. Like, it's almost a shame that everybody else aside from Pouncey didn't do that. That's a big part of football. Just like in America's pastime, baseball, you know, you hit one of us, we're going to hit you. Like there's a little bit of that. The big thing with the Dallas Cowboys is their locker room is leaking information about the coaches not being fit to win football games, whether it's lack of teaching or lack of effort or blah, blah, blah. And they all thought, I think, that the world would turn on the coaches in that. But instead, every player that used to play basically said, like, hey, week 6, don't need that shit being leaked, okay? You guys didn't win with the last coach. You're not winning with this coach. Is it potentially your fault? That's basically the entire reaction of players and coaches that have ever been in the NFL. Like, what you guys are doing is bullshit, basically, is what everybody said. Then this weekend, Andy Dalton, who is starting at quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys because Dak's out, obviously, he gets slaughtered by Bostic of the Washington football team. Just absolutely a hit that maybe 15 years ago wouldn't have been a penalty or fine, but it would have been a fight then. But maybe back in the day, okay, this one, helmet to helmet, laid down, dead. Andy Dalton knocked unconscious, body goes lifeless, helmet comes off. It's a bad scene. And not a single Cowboy went over to Bostic and was like, hey, fuck you. Not a single one of them did it. So now, with the leaks that come out of the locker room, that they thought, I think, potentially would make the blame be on the coach's desk. Instead, it made everybody be like, do that differently. Don't do it that way. Now, with Dalton dying and them not fighting Bostic, it's like, hey, do that differently. Maybe the culture down there, we've always thought that it's potentially because they have a practice field that's in the middle of a bunch of business complex that all have windows to the practice facility. We all thought that was, and the news was able to shoot the entire practices, I guess, before this year. We all thought that was why the Cowboys lose, or maybe it was a curse, you know, like a Thanksgiving Day game curse. Like we thought that was, maybe it's just the locker room's a bunch of fucking shit and it's a terrible culture and they need to figure that out before they figure out anything else. And it does look like Mike McCarthy has no idea what's going on, really. Doesn't seem to be very interested. His answers, it feels like he's a guy who's been retired and like is kind of away and didn't know he's supposed to be back coaching yet. It's like what Gronk happened. First couple games, it looked like a retired guy, not really a football player yet. And then now these last couple weeks, it's like, oh, Gronk is all the way back. And maybe that'll happen to McCarthy. I don't know if he'll get tackled in his office or something to kind of fucking wake him back up. But maybe it's the culture in the locker room that's the biggest problem. And I think that's what I'm noticing, because yesterday, after Terry McLaurin became the leader of the Washington football team afterwards. Shout out to Ron Rivera, by the way, completing his chemo. Rang the bell this morning. That's awesome. Good for him. But that Dallas Cowboys team, they got some problematic shit going on. And I think it all revolves around the locker room. I think that is the first thing you got to deal with, which doesn't bode well for a Dak Prescott comeback after this entire thing, by the way.
It's funny you say that, because Stephen Jones 12 minutes ago said, I do believe we have the right kind of guys. I know we have the right head coach for the job. These things just take time.
Well, the right guys aren't leaking information.
You think this is why you shouldn't hire guys off of their own promo videos?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Candidate's CBD has done it again, folks, and charged forward in solving the biggest problem everyone has. That's cost. Candidates listened and have delivered from a $17.99 tin of tobaccoless dip to the new everyday low price of $9.99. Wow. You may ask yourself how, and the simple answer is by bringing manufacturing in-house and building a facility in the heart of CBD and cannabis, Humboldt County, California. It has the same amazing product at a new everyday low price because they took out the middleman. Nothing has changed besides more capital in your pockets to bet on Sundays. Head to CannadipsCBD.com, that's CANNADIPS, CBD.com, and use promo code LIPBOOMERS for 15% off the new prices and enjoy affordable luxury. That's Lip Boomers with no space. No need to break the bank to kick back bad habits. Canadips CBD is now able to be a part of your lifestyle or dipping rotation.
Hell yeah.
Candidate CBD has changed your life, hasn't it, Ty?
It has, yeah. Delicious.
Used to be a tobacco chewer for a long, long time. Could never find an alternative because it was either a shitty product or didn't taste good. Candidate CBD has come through with some pouches that last with the habit and the feel. Hour 1's wrapping up. Hour 2, we'll have Ian Rappaport and your phone calls. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Overreaction Monday, October 26th.
And the one that no one else took in here, I'm on the 49ers +2. I'm pretty sure the Patriots stink.
Really?
Yeah, the offense stinks. I think the 49ers are going to pack the box. I think they're going to force Cam to throw. I don't think Cam can throw to save his fucking life.
I said during the show I like this bet, but I just won't bet against Bill Belichick for one.
I think Shanahan's crafty. He'll be able to score some points against that defense.
34-28, 34-27. Those are always the scores.
Give me the 49ers +2, and it goes to Gumpy's bet of favorites minus less than 2.5 this season being poopy.
Yeah.
So give me the 49ers plus the 2.
And Connor in our office has been saying that the Patriots are dead.
The Panthers 4-1 against the spread their last 5 in New Orleans. Saints are actually 2-6 against the spread their last 8 home games. And let me take you to Teddy Two Gloves Town against the spread.
Please do.
30-10 against the spread overall. 13-3 against the spread following a straight-up loss. 18-4 against the spread as a dog. 16-3 against the spread on the road. 14-2 against the spread as a road dog. Give me Teddy. Give me the Panthers. Give me the points. And I'm done.
This is Remember the Titans. How's it going? My name is Pat McAfee. I do a lot of things. Today I am a professional analyst getting ready for the Thursday Night Football opener in beautiful Nippert Stadium with the Cincinnati Bearcats here at Higher Ground. This secluded world. Good squad, good place, excited for this morning practice. I'm obviously unbiased, but I'm pulling hard for Cincinnati to do well on Thursday night.
I like to say, I'll eat clipboard quarterback.
This is awesome.
And we got hopefully a future NFL kicker. Let's see what you got. Come on.
This is great for the brand. This guy's an athlete. Athlete.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. They say kickers are athletes. We'll find out. Let's go. Pull it up.
Heads up. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for hospitality. Have a great day. Let's go get away. 1, 2, 3.
I'ma close the case. I can't wait no more, man. I gotta blow today. I'ma blow today. I ain't hearing what they say. Need a blue face. I've been caring about a race. I've been trying to eat. I need more than just a taste. Now they trying to talk. Oh no, they should know their place. Man, I'm ballin'. This ain't cap, baby. Now I feel like calling. From the O, but I got the music poppin'. All the time, man, it started to get obnoxious. Now I gotta drive, yeah, I'm feeling nauseous. Gotta drive top down, then I hop out. I've been feeling hot now.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm up there.
Yeah, you got it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. This has been so cool to see. Whenever we were driving out here into the sticks, my boys and I from Indianapolis, we were told by Coach Fickle it was a 40-minute drive from where we live.
absolute lie. Hour and a half out here. But as we were getting out here, we didn't know what we were going to show up to. And this is such a cool scene here. I remember whenever I was in college, we won a lot of games, beat Cincinnati a couple times. It was a great day. But I remember my boys, right? Like, I still am in touch with them every single day, every single week. We had this moment where we went from boys to become men. And you guys were a really young team last year, but got to experience a lot of wins. Like, now the expectation level are high. And I can't wait to talk you all up on Thursday night against UCLA. UCLA refused to respond to my tweet. So I am a Bearcat fan on that opening night, and I cannot wait to watch you guys dominate. And I think this is such a cool thing. Coach, I can't thank you enough for your hospitality. I got a bunch of swag from you guys, too. This has been a cool day. Enjoy this, though. This doesn't happen a lot. Even when you get into the NFL, it's not like college. It's not like your boys. It's not like this. It's a whole different world that you'll remember forever, and I was honored to be here to watch you today, and I can't wait to watch you guys go win the thing on Thursday night and then throughout the rest of the season. Thank you so much. Cheers, boys. Thank you.
One, two, three.
Shorty on the run like I'm Jay. Yeah. Did she see what getting high about? Roll 'em up the nightlife. Fell in love with flashing lights. I'm on a flight. Come on and ride.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, October 26th, and hour 1 went by very quick. Hour 2 begins right now. That beat drop is incredible by Twine. Also incredible is that we are entering, obviously, Monday Night Football 7 weeks into the NFL season, and we're still playing football. We are still playing football at this moment. College games, there's some things happening. Graham Mertz, who became the hottest quarterback in the Big Ten before Justin Fields came out and played exactly like Justin Fields played last year, which is wild to me with all of that amount of pressure that he has on him to lose 20 pounds because now he's plant-based, which I'll be excited to see how long that lasts. I enjoy the fact that he did it. Whatever makes you a better player. If that lasts forever, cool. If he's going to make a bunch of money. He played incredible. But this Graham Mertz guy comes out opening night, takes over the world. Big Ten football is back. 5 touchdown passes or something like that. Never heard of this dude. Redshirt freshman. Holy hell. Wisconsin's got a player. Next day, he's got a 21-day ban because he tested positive for COVID. He's gone.
Oh, no.
21 days. He's never coming back, this guy. This guy is never coming back. 3 weeks from now, that's half the season. Yeah. They might have 6 other quarterbacks play for this entire thing. What's that?
Big Ten did this on purpose, right? Anyone gets COVID, you're out 21 days. We told you we shouldn't play. That's what's happening
well, not only that, you got to think also the Big Ten only gave 8 weeks for 8 games. So they were like, oh, you want to play? Huh? We already voted against it. You guys are smarter than us. Huh? You want a little General Bob Carpenter? You want to do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you'll get 8 weeks. Even though we've seen every single other league have a suspension or postponement because of a COVID outbreak, because of contact tracing, and it's college kids, and there's more people. We're going to give you 8 weeks, 8 games. And by the way, anybody test positive, 21 days fucking out of here. Wild.
Cancel it.
What about the student human athletes?
Yeah.
What about Graham Mertz? Jeez. This guy just came onto the scene immediately in conversation for, this guy's a dude. He could potentially, I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman. That's going to be very difficult this year, especially with how Mac Jones is playing alongside Trevor Lawrence. Justin Fields looks like he's not going to slow down at all. But maybe this kid comes into national prominence. And what happens? He gets drafted to the NFL. And what happens? He makes millions and millions of fucking dollars for his family and for everybody. But instead, the Big Ten says, no, we don't care about the student or the human or the athlete part of this thing. That's what they're saying to Graham Mertz. 21 days, take a hike, don't even touch a fucking football after the best night of your entire life. Oh, shit! 21 days he's gone. It's insane. But aside from that, I don't know where he's going to go. Lock himself in his room.
Yeah, like, he can't work out. He can't do anything.
Can't do anything. He's going on a Mormon mission trip. I don't even know if he's allowed to have Wi-Fi at this particular time. 21 days. Anyways, aside from that, aside from some postponements and some shell game movement, we're about 7 weeks done into this football season, and I'll tell you what, it seems like it's going off, like it's just going to keep on going. Here we are. Tonight, the Bears travel to Los Angeles at Viva Lazito, a massive fan of the 5-1 Chicago Bears. How do you think they fare tonight? They're getting 6 points on the road. Whoa. Not a bad night, maybe, to be a Bears fan or bet on the Bears. What do you think?
To be honest, I don't think we need the points at all. It was a slap in the face by the old gambling books over there. But other than that, though, just hammer the Bears. Easy win.
The fucking gambling books. That book 21, that one, rude. The
41, 62.
All those gambling books.
I'm very mad.
You think, why don't you bet the money line? Then it's great odds. You can
I did. I have a $9,000 bet coming in to win.
It's plus 235. Do the math. What are you making off of that?
No, I have no idea how to do the math there, but I have a lot of in-game parlays.
He did a same game parlay that will potentially pay out $9,000.
Juicy too.
Okay, got you. So
it's a nice one.
He doesn't even know what he's doing. You're just saying
it's easy money. It is easy money.
Yeah, I
can't wait.
Ian Rappaport is supposed to be joining us right now, but they did give us a time of 12:20 to join us, but Travis Kelce could join us, so we asked Rappaport if he could go in another time. 1:06 was the time they came back. I found that very intriguingly direct to a number there, 1:06. So it probably means he's getting off a TV off of another hit at 1:05. So let's assume that potentially could run a little bit longer because there is some massive breaking news in the NFL. Odell Beckham Jr. torn ACL. He is out for the rest of the year in Cleveland. He obviously got injured while chasing down a guy who had an interception on maybe the first pass I think Baker had that week. It was something that I think everybody was bummed about, obviously, as we are for this whole thing. But then if you look at what the Browns did afterwards, you almost think like, I'm bummed now that the Browns potentially figured out how to throw the football and they don't have Odell Beckham. Like, that is something I'm bummed about. Is I wish that I could have seen that Cleveland Browns offense, which after a pick or two there by Baker early, I don't think he missed a pass for like the next 3 quarters. It was
22 of 23, I believe.
Yeah, 22 of 23, and I think that was a spike. I think the one was a spike where it wasn't even like he just got onto an absolute heater. And for me as a fan, I wish that Odell would have been out there so we could see some nasty Odell Beckham shit. And instead, he's out for the year. The Browns lose a weapon. What's the future with Odell Beckham in Cleveland? Nobody knows.
Do you think that is more indicative of Baker playing well or Cincinnati's defense, which seemingly every week they just decide at some point, like, all right, fuck it, let's just take a couple series off?
Well, the thing about that defense saying that is a member of their defense actually put his house up for sale.
Yes, he did.
Immediately after the game in the locker room after getting into an altercation with the defensive coordinator on the sideline of the actual game. Carlos Dunlap is who we're talking about here. Carlos Dunlap and Geno Atkins, I believe, last week came out and were talking about how they weren't thrilled about either the amount of playing time they were getting or the scheme that was happening. We talked to Dwight Freeney about it. Dwight Freeney said this exact thing started happening to him because coaches start thinking, like, we got to save this older guy for big moments, so they start cutting back reps. But then the players are like, well, since you're cutting back reps, my numbers are going to go down, the rhythm's going to go down there. It's something that happens, I guess, on the defensive line. Carlos Dunlap is fucking done with it, though. As soon as that game ended yesterday, and obviously it was a thriller, we all saw Baker throw the game winner in the corner of the end zone. That was a back-and-forth battle from 2 teams in Ohio with number 1 overall picks. Joey Burrow is going to be a dude for a long time. Baker seems like he potentially could be the guy in Cleveland if the contract is right. Who knows how this year will play out. But Carlos Dunlap is about had it with fucking Cincinnati Bengals. He tweets in the locker room, I think this was at 4:41 he tweeted this, so maybe he's on the bus after leaving the locker room, or game was in Cincy, maybe he's in his car driving back to this place. He goes, 6,000 square foot city view with huge balcony, 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath, in one of the best school districts for sale. Do your market analysis and make me an offer. Serious inquirers only with proof of funds. Don't be no broke, motherfucker. Owner is willing to sell furnished or unfurnished. Everything must go. I don't care. That is a hysterical tweet. But to follow it up, About That 23 says this is some sucker shit. And then Joe Mixon goes, if if you're leaving, I'm kind of new. I just got money. Let me get that crib. So Joe Mixon is trying to get Carlos Dunlap's house. Carlos Dunlap seems to be trying to get the hell out of Cincy. Will any teams make a play on him here? We're coming up on the last few days here before the trade deadline. There's a lot happening in Ohio football with that and Odell Beckham, Baker Mayfield's future, the NFL in general. To talk to us, a man who wasn't allowed to talk for 2 weeks. A man who came back on the scene in a massive fashion, taking time out of his day to chat with us right now from the NFL Network insider, ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rappaport.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, welcome back, man. Welcome back. Welcome back. We missed you so much.
Yeah. Come on, Rap.
Welcome back, baby. I missed it too, guys. I didn't say I miss you guys, but I missed everything.
Yeah. Well, we understand. We get that a lot. Was there a couple times during your suspension, and I don't want to just talk about that because there's a lot of football news that you know and want to talk about, and we would like to hear from you because you are the authority on a lot of information. Was there any news that you thought you could have broke while ever you were down there? Did they just stop texting you? Did you have to turn your phone off? How did that work?
I didn't have to turn my phone off. I mean, there were definitely some things I would have had a very good shot at breaking, I feel like. But what happened is, because it was so public that I was suspended, everybody knew, and I actually got very few texts with like, hey, here's this piece of news. Usually throughout a week, there's like a whole bunch of, hey, here's this little thing, or have you heard this? Or I didn't get a lot of that, I think probably because everyone knew what my situation was. So then, after 2 weeks, it was basically like the phone got turned back on. And then, as you mentioned, there was a little bit of a flurry when I became active again.
Yeah. By God, that's Ian Rappaport's music. Yeah. I mean, we saw it. We heard it. The whole thing. Did you think that you were potentially dead when everybody stopped texting you? Or did you know, like, okay, no, I know the game. They're not holding us out for whatever reason.
No, I mean, I heard from an unbelievable amount of people. Okay. Like, I cannot believe how many people, even some I haven't heard from in a while, who texted me. So, like, the phone worked because I cannot even overstate how many people reached out for various reasons. But it was just not like, hey, here's this piece of news. It was more like, how's it going? Or like, couple jokes here and there. Everyone had some fun with it. I did not, but they all did. So that was basically my life for 2 weeks.
Well, if you trim the bushes, the tree stands taller, Rappaport, and sometimes you got to do that. And I'm very, very thankful that you are back in this thing. Let's talk about it. This morning, Josina Anderson said she got a text from Odell Beckham. She says Odell Beckham told her torn ACL, he's out for the season. What is the thought now with this, with the Cleveland Browns? I assume there's going to be a lot of banter surrounding him potentially being on the trade blocker, not being a Cleveland Brown next year.
You would be right about that. Yeah, I mean, it is a torn ACL. And actually, last night, really after the game, everyone kind of knew what this was. I mean, the confirmation came in the MRI, but talking to people yesterday, like, they all knew it was really bad. So I didn't, usually when a player's injured and there's an MRI, it's like, oh, wait for the MRI. It wasn't like that yesterday. It was like, bad news. Like, I guess maybe we'll get some good luck, but this is going to be terrible. Like, everybody knew. So I think it seems like Cleveland kind of came to grips with this yesterday. Couple interesting things, though. One, how well the team played after he was gone. Like, Baker looked good, and I know Odell is great. He is a great talent. But I don't know if Baker's better when Odell is out there, but he sometimes looks better. So that was kind of an interesting part of it, going to be fascinating to follow going forward. And then, you mentioned the possible trade stuff. He's injured now. He's going to be injured for 9 months. So his injury guarantee for 2021 is going to end up becoming fully guaranteed. So they cannot cut him. So basically the only option, if they do end up wanting to move on from him, is to trade him when he gets healthy, when he can prove to teams he's healthy, which would probably be in like July or August if a trade happened. So the injury very, very much complicates his future in general and then in Cleveland.
Well, I hope they figure it out. I think OBJ is at a point in his life where all he wants to do is win games. And aside from Odell, there was a lot of other wide receivers that were allegedly on the trade block last week while I think you were still in hibernation. No, I think it came out. But there's A.J. Green allegedly, Julio Jones. You're talking about a lot of big-name, marquee names that are potentially on the trade block at a position that a lot of teams would desire having. Is there any big moves that are going to happen, or is this all just smoke and talk that people... kind of like 5-6 years ago, it felt like the trading in the NFL was a lot of talk and then nothing. Then all of a sudden it started picking up a little bit more, like the NBA. Are you feeling like there's going to be massive amounts of moves this year?
I think there's going to be some. It's so hard to really do anything now with COVID. I mean, the trade deadline's next Tuesday, but if you trade for someone next Tuesday, he actually can't play until the following week. So it actually kind of devalues whoever you trade for. If you want to trade for someone and have him play in 2 weeks, you have to trade him this Thursday. So it's all very strange and very, very complicated. But Julio Jones not getting traded. I was told A.J. Green almost certainly not getting traded. Those kinds of guys almost never get traded. Michael Thomas, I have not heard he's going to be traded at all. Things are not great there, but I have not heard he's going to be traded. I think it'd be more a guy like Kenny Stills would be an interesting potential possibility. Texans are not good. He's still pretty good. He's versatile. He's a good guy. Doesn't cost a ton. I could see a guy like that being traded rather than saying A.J. Green or Julio Jones.
Okay, so let's talk about Julio Jones down there in Atlanta real quick. Obviously, fired GM, fired head coach. Matt Ryan is owed $100 million over the next couple of years. I believe next year's dead cap or salary cap is like $45 to $49 million or something like that. So Arthur Blank has come out and said that, I'll let the GM make the decision on what he wants to do with Matt Ryan and everything like that. He's not going to be able to move Matt Ryan. He has to hire somebody that's going to want Matt Ryan, right? Because that contract is impossible to get out of town.
Yeah, I mean, it is right now. But let's say let's say the Falcons don't look horrendously terrible. So let's say they finish with 4 wins. They're probably picking 7 or 8. So they will have the choice of picking maybe the third best quarterback, say, second, third, probably third. And what could happen is Matt Ryan could, this is crazy to say because he's a franchise guy, but Matt Ryan could become Ryan Fitzpatrick. You start for a year or you start for 2 years and then you pave the way for the rookie. Matt Ryan's much easier to be traded in 2022 than he is in the 2021 offseason. So to me, he's almost certainly going to be their starting quarterback next year. It's just a matter of, does he kind of pave the way for some rookie and start and kind of keep the seat warm?
Feels like you just got a text maybe from Arthur Blank there telling you exactly what happened here. Last question before I assume you have to go here. The Dallas Cowboys, okay? Dallas Cowboys.
I changed the angle of my computer, so now having to look at my phone in a different place is all very disorienting. But go ahead.
Well, that's what happens when you go on a 2-week hiatus. You know what I mean? The phone dies, you get rusty, you don't even know.
Can't get away from it.
Yeah, well, it happens, dude. Manscaped is a great product. We love it. We love Manscaped. We've been selling the Lawnmower 3.0 here for a long time. The Weed Whacker, a long time. 9,000 RPM engine on that Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. I mean, it is next level.
Love it.
All right, so Ian,
say about it?
we were talking to Ian Rappaport. He agrees. Ian,
Okay.
the Dallas Cowboys, all right, your Tom Pelissaro, your friend Tom Pelissaro, said that, no, that was actually that was the Dolphins. Never mind. But the Dallas Cowboys, information's leaking out of the locker room, okay? Coaches aren't working hard. Coaches don't know how to teach, blah, blah, blah. And if you're an ex-player or an ex-coach, your immediate thought is like, well, that seems like a bad locker room. The people 6 games into a new regime, new schedule, new everything, is leaking information to the media to try to drive a wedge between the players and the coaches. Then, yesterday, Andy Dalton gets slaughtered, right? Big late shot by Bostic. He gets ejected. Nobody fights Bostic. It feels like the Dallas Cowboys, and you probably know a lot more. You definitely know a lot more than I do. That place might be ripe for an entire rebuild, huh? I mean, legit, if the locker room, now granted, who knows how the rest of this year will go. If it's anything like yesterday, not good. But that feels like a locker room, a culture that needs a complete rebuild. Am I wrong in thinking that as an outsider? And is that what they're going to do? And if they do that, that's not great for Dak Prescott. He'll make money somewhere else, but maybe not in Dallas?
first of all, hard to imagine them giving up on a franchise quarterback as good as he is.
Okay.
So I don't see Dak going. I really don't see Dak going anywhere. Even if, let's say for the sake of argument, McCarthy is one and done. What new coach wouldn't want Dak Prescott? So that's the first thing. The other thing is, I kind of go back and forth on the players speaking out thing, because on one hand, it's not great to kind of leak that stuff out to the media, even though I am media. On the other hand, maybe it's just a bunch of players who want to be coached well. Like, there's also that part of it, right?
Ian.
You don't buy it?
No, those guys should go to the coach then. The NFL is very much like a professional thing. Like, you should say, like, hey, we got to figure this
If you
out.
respect the coaches, yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's obviously not going well. And I'll tell you what, kind of like you said, I had a major problem. With them not picking up Andy Dalton, not kind of fighting. Can I get this call? Would you be annoyed if I got this call?
No. How long will it be? Will it be quick?
Hold on. Give me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I just on caller ID.
No.
Geez.
Who are they trading where? We'll follow everybody else, I guess,
Could've been
instead of
anyone.
Rap Sheet.
Literally could've been anyone.
boys.
Oh, my God. So you don't think that they're going to move on from Dak and rebuild the entire culture down there?
No, I don't think they're going to move on from Dak at all. I mean, to me, that's who you would start with if you were trying to rebuild things. But, I mean, the prospect of one and done for McCarthy, I would have thought was crazy. I don't think it's likely, but I don't think it's crazy either, just based on everything that's gone on down there.
Hold on. Is this a little bit of a little wrap up?
No, I don't think so. I mean, everything's on the table to me. I mean, I'm not saying it's likely, but it's looked really bad. I mean, it has looked really bad there, and I don't think that's not stepping out of line. I mean, anyone who watched it can see, like, it should be. Say whatever you want about Jason Garrett, and they were not perfect, and sometimes they were mediocre. He did a pretty good job holding that thing together.
Yeah, I'd say so. Last question before we let you go. Any other big news we should keep an eye out? Because it seems like whenever you come on our show, you break news like a minute and a half after you get off.
Mm-hmm. If I can figure out who called me, then I will definitely, hopefully, break some news. I'll let you know.
All right, thank you. That's very nice of you. Ladies and gentlemen, follow at Rap Sheet. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rappaport. We fucking blew that for him.
Yeah.
He's got no shot of getting any of that information. That information has been spread to 7 other insiders before he could even say goodbye right there.
That could have been McCarthy out in Dallas.
Wow. Very much. By the way, is he just saying it? No. He's heard from somebody somewhere that there's a chance that potentially over down there.
Rumors are swirling.
Where's Mike McCarthy go? He goes right back to that basement up there in Wisconsin.
Yep,
with
right back to the barn.
What did he get? $90 million or something? I forget how much the Dallas Cowboys said they were going to pay him. He just came down for a year, didn't call any plays, didn't do any teaching or coaching. He actually said he overcoached. He partied with Jerry Jones. And then he gets, $50 million and then just goes back? Mike McCarthy might be the greatest fucking businessman of all time, this guy. Because to your point, he did cut his own highlight, or to Gumpy's point, he did cut his own highlight reel resume that Tom Pelissero put out.
Propaganda.
Oh, my God.
That's what it feels like.
Hey, that's fucking Pittsburgh Mike down there. All right, Pittsburgh Mike.
In his defense, the defense had another great week of practice this week. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth.
Did he say that?
Well, they only gave up 22 points, right? That's good for them.
Pretty damn good.
Oh, my God.
Kyle Allen was slinging it, too.
Let's get to a break. We have to get to a break. We have Darius Butler, I believe, on the other side.
But
we will talk to him about tonight's game. Is Mike McCarthy done in Dallas?
After that,
give him another chance.
Sounds like it.
Guy's got no shot with that fucking culture they got running down there.
Bring in Magic. It's the only guy that can save him.
Hey, if you're Dak, maybe you think about not coming back to the Cowboys, right? Like, you maybe want to go somewhere else?
Yeah, but I feel like being a quarterback at the Dallas Cowboys is a good thing.
Sometimes. Not right
now. Well, right now is a good time to be Dak, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, aside from the rehab of the injury,
obviously.
which is no fun at all, by the way, okay? Not good at all. I think there was another dislocation of an ankle, by the way. Carolina Panthers, I believe. There was a guy. His ankle looked like it was sideways, caught a touchdown. It was
that was the Chargers game, right? Virgil Green.
There it is. Yeah, it was.
That was bad.
In the corner, and he walked it off. I'm like, oh, my God. Why are these? But Dak, not good physically. But if you look at that team without Dak there, Dak might be worth $600 million.
Yeah. 50 a year.
We got to get to a break. We're back on the other side with Darius Butler. What's going on down there in Dallas? Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, have they lost the pulse of the locker room down there?
They stink.
Mike McCarthy getting run out of town. What happens if the next coach doesn't win? And the players say, these guys, how about Ian, by the way? If you want to be coached better, get the fuck out of here. Ian. I like that because Ian makes a living literally off of people doing what we just said about.
Yep.
All right, we're back on the other side with some of your phone calls and Darius Butler. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Overreaction Monday, October 26th. You said in the interview that you would add an extra finger to your scotch drink or whatever. A finger is just what? Just one finger this way or this way?
Yeah, like this, bro.
So did you do 4 on Sunday? You did a full fucking glass?
It was a long night. We didn't get home. I didn't get home till like 11:40.
Look at how much scotch that is. Is that what you did?
It's not that much.
That's 4 fingers, dude. You said you normally do 3. That's 4 right there.
But you have those fat sausages. It hasn't been cordial over the years between me and Sue. You know, we've had some battles over the years. I think I mentioned that he got frozen feet and didn't realize he was stepping on my calf. He also stomped on one of my teammates at one point. I was under the impression that we were going to have a conversation after the game. And there might have been some loss in translation, whether or not he was talking about the, see you at the bus conversation. I thought it seemed more like, hey, let's have a little, come to Jesus moment. I was looking for that conversation. I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't think it was going to, look, I'm not going to play number 2.
Do you think it was the 3 pumps that potentially got you into deep shit with the football gods, Aaron?
You, of all people, a man who is celebrated as much as anybody at your position, you must realize whether necessary or unnecessary. The celebrations have no correlation in that sense.
You needed a kick in the ass. Do you just think everybody was getting kind of too comfortable and had the bye week and had a chance to soak it in? Hey, we're very, very good. Is that what you meant by that?
I mean, I think we all need that a little bit. When the complacency starts to sink in and you start kind of feeling yourself a little bit, it's always good to kind of get knocked down. And I think it can be a good thing. I'm not saying, look, nobody wants to lose to fucking figure things out. Great teams have consistent habits. And so we got to keep doing the things that got us to 4-0 in order to get back to where we want to be.
Here, huh?
Yeah.
Here. Attaboy, Aaron!
I know you were an extra in Game of Thrones. I wanted to get your opinion on how you think the show ended.
So I think many of us were disappointed and confused by the ending.
Which one were you? Do you know which one you were yet?
The guy running duck-footed heel first with his arms splaying all about.
Yeah, no cakes. Weak jaw turned into the alley. Was that you?
I think that guy's related to AJ somehow.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Welcome back to that show. It is Monday, October 26th. Week 7 of the NFL season is wrapping up this evening with the Bears at the Los Angeles Rams, to join us now to give us some prop bet locks in conversation about the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, 9-year NFL vet, host of the Man to Man podcast, Darius Butler.
What's happening?
Patriots are dead, dude.
Not so fast. Not so fast.
Not
so fast.
At Darius Butler.
I won't count him out yet.
Darius Butler was drafted to the New England Patriots in the second round, coming out of UConn, prestigious football school, UConn. He goes up there. He's a corner, stud, freak athlete, got a chance to play and understand the Patriot way. You say not so fast to them being absolutely dead. I mean, that offense looks completely lost out there. Jimmy G and the 49ers were doing their thing on the offensive side as if the defense wasn't even out on the field. You don't think they're dead at all? Patriots fans think the Patriots are dead.
Nah, I can't. It's way too early to count out Bill and Cam, man. They got plenty of time to figure it out. And I think they will. They always do. I can't count them out yet, man. San Fran, I mean, they got a good football team. Kyle Shanahan's no slouch when it comes to calling plays. They got some playmakers on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. They're coming off a Super Bowl appearance. So a very good team. Cam looked bad, though. He looked bad. He knows he looked bad, and it's only up from here. And I definitely think those guys figure it out.
You think COVID got him? Man, did you see how happy he was before the COVID? I mean, he was like the happiest guy. He's back to being the guy. What are you looking? You're looking at Connor has some stats and post COVID.
Oh shit!
Before COVID, 62 for 91, 714 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns. After COVID, 26 of 40, 255 yards, 0 touchdowns, 5 picks, 1 rushing touchdown.
COVID's got him. It took the joy not only out of the world but out of Cam Newton. It seems like
it can't. You can't take the joy out of Cam Newton.
They did. COVID did
it. We going to week 8 right now, man. Halfway point. I can't count him out. I can't count my dog out yet, man. Too much time left. He gonna figure it out. Have a 400-yard game next week, and we'll be all forgotten about this, Connor. Trust me, man.
That doesn't seem likely. Nope. That does not seem like
against the Bills, he might.
In Buffalo. Playing the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Maybe they'll be able to get back on track, but boy, 2-4 is a wild world for these Patriots fans. It is wild. Let's go around the NFL a little bit. Let's talk about Buda Baker. Buda Baker, I believe, was a guest on the Man to Man podcast last night. I think he died on the football field after one big hit. They took him into the 10 or whatever. He aced the test somehow, gets the helmet back, makes 7 straight plays.
Aced it quick, too, yeah.
Very quick. Got his helmet back. He's back, makes 7 straight plays after this. This guy might be the most electrifying defensive player in all of the NFL right now. Playing safety, you have to absolutely love that guy.
Man, he is unbelievable, and to be a smaller guy, he plays like he's 6'4", 250. He flies around, and he's in on every tackle. It seems pressuring the quarterback, and to be the highest paid safety, coming into this season with 0 career interceptions coming into this season, lets you know kind of what he's doing. So before his appearance on the Man to Man pod, 0 career interceptions. Wow. Since his appearance, these some stats for you, Connor. 2 interceptions. I won't say me and AB had anything to do with that, but I think he'll tell you that. But nah, man, he's been balling, man. He's a baller. That play with DK to run him down on say that touchdown. Wow,
that's tough.
He's unbelievable.
That's tough. He plays. And I guess every safety that flies around and is in places he's not supposed to be will automatically be compared to Troy Polamalu. But it felt like that watching him last night. This guy's just showing up in places he's not supposed to be. He has that big hit on the side. I forget who it was against. He's dead on the ground. Then he picks his body back up or whatever. And they had to whistle down. They're like, get him off. That guy needs to be checked or whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was done.
Done. I thought it was over. I'm like, oh, no. I bet the Cards plus 3.5. That guy's making every single play. He's done. He somehow, by the way, whatever it was, maybe his body just relaxed whenever he went down to the ground somehow.
Maybe it was a shoulder stinger.
Ooh, maybe that hits the legs. Maybe you never know. But I don't think so, dude. His legs were just like flopping over there. But then he puts the helmet back on. He got a sack, I think, the next play. Then he had like a pass breakup on the other play, and then maybe he was just everywhere at once. Do they have a defensive system where it's like, hey, whatever you're feeling, man, just go over and do whatever the fuck you got to do?
Yeah, I mean, they got a system, but he's one of those guys, and being able to talk to him, and Antoine knows him better than I do. Being able to talk to him, you can just tell how much he cares about the game, how much he invests in the game, and when he prepares. And so when he gets out in that snap, before the snap, he knows pretty much, okay, you're giving me 1, 2, or 3 plays, and more times than not, he's going to be there. Even plays that he's not supposed to be involved in, he finds a way to hustle. Every play is out there and get in on every play. So when you have guys like that setting the tone, one of your better players, your highest paid player at his position, and he's still running around playing like that, especially after losing a guy like Chandler Jones on that defense. That's what that team and that defense is going to need, and Baker's been providing that and more. That defense has a lot of athletes out there. Isaiah Simmons gets his first pick. Nobody knew what he was going to do. He looks like they've bulked him up a little bit, it feels like. That's like his first appearance that we've really seen of him. If he can get it going somehow and have this interception kind of break whatever curse was potentially on him for not making a lot of plays, that'd be awesome. That Arizona team looks damn good. Let's move around now to a team that looks very, very bad at football. Dallas Cowboys, you and I talked about it. The leaking to the media 6 weeks in, like, that's not a good locker room. Like, that is not what's supposed to happen. Then Andy Dalton dies, okay? You played in the NFL 9 years. Andy Dalton dies on the field. His guys don't even help him up. They don't go after Bostic at all. And there's a lot of noise being talked about this, but I think it's because it's so important. Like, that is a massive ordeal that not a single person went after anybody after Dalton just died. That would at least cause some sort of scuffle, even if it's like broken up, no punches are thrown. Yeah. There would be some sort of something happen. Are the Cowboys dead, you think, from a culture perspective? I mean, coming into the week, like you said, we had the leaks and the things coming out of the building, and then for that, I mean, it's kind of been blown up, but that's a big deal. It's a big deal, especially as players been in that locker room, because there are unwritten rules and unspoken rules in kind of all sports. You see it in baseball, you see it in different sports, but in football, that's kind of like a spoken rule. Like, you'll almost get in trouble if somebody doesn't get a flag or doesn't get pulled to the side for that. That should be an immediate scuffle. That's your quarterback. That's your leader. That's the guy you're supposed to be protecting. And somebody, some guys are saying, oh, those are backups. They're just kind of worried about their jobs. But I mean, that's everybody. That's very indicative of what that team is and where they are right now mentally, physically. They've kind of tapped out, it looked like. But it's a long season. Cowboys Nation, boy, they are fired up right now, and I feel like they should be used to this shit by now. Well, I agree, but this is worse than even before. Ian Rappaport just came on the show and basically said Mike McCarthy could potentially be fired. He's out of the Manscaped cave, huh? Yeah, he did. He came out of the Manscaped cave. And we, by the way, cut a Manscaped promo in the middle of the conversation with him. Was pretty cool. I enjoyed that a lot. Put him in a very awkward position, obviously, which he doesn't deserve, but he handled it properly. He said that there's a rumor that McCarthy, one and done, going to be fucking out of there. I'm like, really? This is McCarthy's fault all of a sudden. Maybe it is. Maybe the players were right last week. I mean, somebody's got to take the fall. It's gonna come down. He's got to be the fall guy. I don't think he's gonna be out of there. Signed a 5-year deal, I think. And I actually asked yesterday during the game, like, man, how long of a deal did this dude sign? Because to look at a team like that, you would have to think like, they got to make some real changes there. But I mean, you got to empower whoever's going to be in that position. Whoever's going to be in that head coach position, they got to have some power over that team. You got Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones. They're doing press conferences after games and talking about the teams. And some people feel different ways about what owner's role should be. But when you're the owner, you're the owner. So he's either going to have to take that step back and say, hey, I got to bring somebody in who can really run this show. Kind of how Chris Ballard's been doing in Indy, something like that. But, because he kind of turned that thing around, building the culture kind of from the ground up. But somebody's got to do something because it's ugly right now. I agree. Chris Ballard is quite a mason with what he did with the bricks at the bottom of that thing. And I don't think anybody who wasn't in the building would understand that. I think if you were not in the building, I don't think you have any idea what all had to be completely. I mean, it was a very different place. It became a very different place after the Peyton run, and then it became a very different place. And then Chris Ballard's been able to build that back. Hopefully they're winning games. They had a bye week. Phil Rivers' arm's coming back stronger than ever. Wow. Stronger than ever. Tonight, Bears at the Rams. D-Butt, what are your thoughts? How do you think this is going to go? The Bears are 5-1, but they're getting 6 against this Los Angeles Rams team that's been kind of hit or miss. How do you see this night going? It should be a good one. Both teams are playing well. Rams, they got roughed up last week against the San Fran 49ers, but 49ers, they attack you with those guys with the yak, like Debo, Kittle, like those guys get the ball. They get the ball in their hand. They make plays after they have the balls in their hands. Pause. The Bears don't have those type of weapons, so I don't think they'll be able to, put up passing yards like that against them. So I'm gonna hit that under on Foles real quick.
Ooh.
But I think the Rams win the game, but Bears cover. Bears they don't cover this 6 point. I think that's too much. It'll be closer than that.
Okay, so you think it's going to be a very close game. Rams
Close
win.
game.
Rams win, Bears cover. That would be, by the way, if you do that again, that should become that's a very profitable bet to be making, those two bets, by the way. You become like a very, now granted, nobody in media is hotter than I am, but what I'm saying with you is the way you did that. Last week we had the same conversation. I think we had one team win, the other
The
team.
Eagles?
Yeah, we did. Made a lot of money. By the way, I don't know if you put a bet in, but I did. We made a lot of money together with that one. I like that you're doing it.
My state won't allow it.
What's that all about down there? You would think
man.
you would think that's, and you know what it is. It's probably the casinos, by the way. You guys have a lot of casinos down there, don't you?
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah, in Seminole, we got the Hard Rock, a couple Hard Rocks down here.
So what happens?
Maybe, yeah.
What happens is the casinos. Now, I haven't been privy to any of these conversations, but it seems like the states that have a lot of casinos have been very slow in the mobile sportsbook app. It seems there's a potential chance that those casinos might have some influence in the government.
Some leverage, you said.
Might potentially.
Okay. We got to figure that out, man. We got to get Florida on the map. We got to be doing that.
You guys do have the green cards down there, though. You guys have the green cards that you have to renew every 5 years.
Every 2, I believe.
Yeah, it just so happened
Maybe
to
every
be
year.
just so happened to be the week that we were together down there. He didn't have his card; it had expired. And then the day we leave, his card brand new, fresh. He's on Instagram.
You had to get ready for a fight, man. You were in fight
Oh
mode.
yeah.
It was perfect timing.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right, let's go back to the Foles thing. When you see Nick Foles, what do you think of? Like, as a DB who played in the NFL a long time, they made the switch from Mitch to Nick while Mitch was still undefeated. Now, granted, all quarterbacks say, well, he got a quick pull and all that. When you watch Nick Foles play the football, what is your thoughts as a DB? Like, oh, this guy stinks. He's a game manager. He can't really do a lot of things. What are your thoughts on Nick Foles?
It's crazy, man, because he plays so good in that relief role, that backup role, but he's just not. I don't see him as an ace. He's not the guy that started pitcher that would run out and be like, I'm fearful this guy can come out here and beat us. Now, he's a quarterback that won't go out there and lose the game for you, but I feel good as a defense saying, okay, we got to put Nick Foles in a situation where he's got to beat us. And, that's kind of where they are now. They're 5-1 as a football team, and I think that says a lot to that Bears as a whole team, especially that defense, what they're doing on that side of the ball. But he doesn't put fear in my heart as a DB. Good player. The more reps he gets in this system with Nagy, he's still young as far as working with Nagy, so we'll see if it gets better, but just not very accurate with throws down the field all the time. He throws a good deep ball, but outside of that, I don't see him picking defenses apart on all 3 levels.
Oh, so you think he stinks?
He stinks.
Whoa, just say it.
Come on.
I wouldn't say. He's a good, very, very good backup quarterback.
You said he stinks.
Just say it.
No. He's good.
You said he
Oh,
stinks.
he's good, though.
So he's a good quarterback.
He deserved the handshake. I'll tell you that.
Ooh. Hey, a lot of drama behind Tom Brady not going to shake old Nick Foles' hand after Nick Foles and the Bears get the dub over the Buccaneers. Since that, Tom Brady has gone and shook everybody's hand. But Nick, who knows what the story is behind there? Let's go to Tom Brady down there with the Buccaneers. They seem to have it figured out down there. Gronkowski's all the way back. They're adding AB into the mix. That defense with Todd Bowles is humming. They made Aaron Rodgers have a bad game. Aaron even said it. Now Aaron obviously just picked apart the Texans. We'll talk to him tomorrow. It was a slice and dice fucking clinic. Just days after people told Aaron Rodgers that his offense had been figured out or whatever. I mean, can't wait for that convo tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, though, Darius, it feels like they got it figured out down there.
Man, they are hitting their stride. They're playing good football, like you said, in all 3 phases. Brady is looking young again. He's hitting all his weapons. You got Scotty Miller making plays. Gronk is back.
Who is?
Still got Evans, Godwin, and now you add AB into that fold, man. It's scary. It's scary. And if they can keep him protected, O-line's been playing well. They keep him protected, and Bowles keeps that defense humming. They got by far the best combo at the linebacker position. Like Devin White, Levante David. Like, it's unbelievable watching those dudes play football. Young guys on the back end, they're growing every week. So on that team's right now, I mean, they got to be first in that NFC.
Well, I mean, Aaron Rodgers.
Gotta be.
What, they have one bad game? Aaron Rodgers?
Hey, guess what? We'll see him again. We'll see him again at some point.
Definitely will see him again.
Okay,
I mean, you got them. I still got the Seahawks up there. You know, they take an L last night, but I still got Seahawks, Packers.
It did not feel like Russ threw 3 picks, by the way. On the defensive side of the ball, that's what you see. Well, the guy's got 3 turnovers or whatever on Russ. Like, that's a big deal. But as I saw, like, the one to Patrick Peterson where he toe tapped, I'm like, that was a very dumb play by Russ. But the way he played last night, like the 3 interceptions is probably going to be a story for a lot of people. He's unbelievable. Russell Wilson is unbelievable to watch. That ball, is it that different, the ball that he throws coming down from the clouds from everybody else? Because they're making it sound like it's almost indefensible at this point with the way the arc that he puts on that thing.
It's very different. The reason why, so most quarterbacks, and Reggie Wayne kind of taught me this later in my career, but most DBs, like, we look back for the ball. So when we look back, and depending on the trajectory, you know, obviously you got to find the ball to make a play on it. But Russell, like, receivers typically look up for the ball. So with him kind of dropping it down the way he does, it's much harder on a DB to make that play than it is for his wideouts who are used to tracking that ball, you know, every day in practice, every day in pat and go before the game. And now it's a different ball that you see. Nick Foles kind of throws a similar deep ball, but Russell, like, the accuracy, even the one he threw to Tyler Lockett, it was much closer to the end zone, like a cross route. He just lofted up there, and just that play, that's an unbelievable play. And that's not a ball that you see every week as a DB. So it's much tougher, and as accurate as he is with it, it obviously makes it even better.
DB, going off that, do you think the Seahawks fans should be worried then because Russell's going to have to basically do everything for them to make a run to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, you have them up above the Packers? Is that what you just said, too?
No, I didn't say that. They're in the top 3 up there. Those 3 quarterbacks, I mean, you could pick either one. But out of the 3, Russell has, I would say, the worst defense because he does have a pass rush. You know, if you don't have a pass rush up front, that puts so much more pressure on the rest of the guys. And I don't care how talented you are. If a quarterback has the opportunity to go from progression 1, 2, 3 on, 80% of his dropbacks, you're going to be in trouble as a defense. I don't care how good you are. So until they fix that pass rush, which is not a bunch of pass rushers just sitting at home right now. So until they fix that, it would be tough as a fan, as a bettor to say, hey, they could go out and win a Super Bowl with that defense giving up that type of points. Because Russell Wilson is unbelievable, but even he's going to make mistakes. And when you got quarterback like a Kyler or like all these other guys, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, can go out and put up those similar numbers, the defense is going to make the difference.
D, but it's assumed tonight that Jalen Ramsey will be shadowing Allen Robinson. How do you think that's going to go? And also, does either of them have an advantage because they played on the same team in Jacksonville or no?
That's a good question. I think it's going to be a good matchup to watch. Number one, very good matchup, especially since Jalen has been playing inside too. So now in the man-to-man situation, a lot of guys that follow, they'll go to the side of the ball, but if the guys line up in the slot, they'll just stay on the outside. But Jalen should be shadowing him all over. That'll be good to watch. I think Jalen will have the edge just because I feel like Jalen is a better player, and I don't feel like Allen Robinson's quarterback is that great.
Just say he stinks, dude. Just say he stinks.
Spit on his grave.
What did Nick do to you?
Absolutely nothing. Actually, I bet on the Patriots when he beat him. But outside of that, I like Nick Foles, man. I actually thought the Eagles should have kept him over Wentz a couple years ago. But I give Jalen the edge in that matchup for sure.
Stinks of football.
You think he stinks? Stinks. So what does that mean about Carson Wentz then? He just buried Carson Wentz as well. Interesting strategy. Just come on the show and bury everybody. That's awesome. I like that.
I like Carson, man. I like Carson too, man. Good player.
Like in backyard football, you're saying? Like if you were to play backyard football, like he would be better than everybody else that played football at backyard football.
He's very talented. He just got to do the little things right. Play in and play out. But if he can't depend on, superstar talent every play. You just got to do, as a quarterback, you got to do stupid simple things over and over again correctly, and then you find your chances to make the big plays. And I don't think Carson does a good enough job at doing that. But at the same time, his weapons around him have been destroyed. His old line has been banged up. His receivers been banged up. So he has been working with the best best group of talent. But I still think he's a very good player. I'll leave it at that.
Last question. You said he stinks. Last question.
See, I knew it was coming.
Last question here before we have to get to a break, and we appreciate you joining us. Host of the Man to Man podcast, Darius Butler, 9 years in the NFL. In the secondary, Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, the only undefeated team left in the NFL. They already had their bye week, obviously because the Tennessee Titans COVID outbreak that happened just a few weeks ago. That defense, I've watched it every single week now. It's one of the most entertaining things to watch in football is their defense, the way it plays. And then you account for Ben Roethlisberger and that offense. They have weapons now this year, it feels like. Actual weapons. They have numerous people that can get it. That team might be the most complete team that not a lot of people are talking about strictly because of what happened last year where they kind of fell off the radar after they lost their quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger's all the way back. That defense is all the way back. In the AFC, the Steelers could be a real fucking problem for a lot of people.
They're right up there. They're right up there at the top. You obviously can't count out Big Ben. Good player, been around for a long, long time. Threw had some bad turnovers yesterday, but like you said, got a ton of weapons around him. Claypool, Juju, Ray McLeod, this guy, Deontay Johnson, just a lot of weapons around him, and that defense is playing lights out. They got some injuries at linebacker that they're going to have to overcome. But, I think they can. Keith Butler's been doing a great job with that group on the defensive side of the ball all year. And they are right. I mean, it would be one or two up in that on that AFC side, and I think they're opened up at like 5-point underdogs against the Ravens this week, which is kind of crazy to me. I think it's a little disrespectful. It might take the Steelers in that one.
I agree. Anytime the Steelers are getting points, I think we hammer them until they prove that they can't win every single time. Because a lot of people are saying they didn't play anybody, they haven't played anybody, blah 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 blah. Then they do what they did to the Titans, and aside from a couple resurgences there by the Titans and obviously a missed kick by Gostkowski, the Steelers, they looked damn dominant in that game for a large part of it. Now, granted, the Titans on the other side looked very dominant in the third and the fourth as well. So I think the Steelers are a team that's going to continue to go, but early bye week could bite them in the ass later in the day. D-Butt, appreciate you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Darius Butler.
Appreciate you.
D-Butt. He said Nick Foles under because Nick Foles stinks.
Right. Can't believe he said that.
I want to know what he did to him.
It did seem a little bit personal.
It was very personal.
It seemed like he wouldn't go out there and shake Nick Foles' hand like he's Tom Brady.
Or is there a chance that Nick Foles stinks?
Whoa.
You shut your mouth.
Got Super Bowl MVP. Let's get some phone calls here. Let's go to Chuck in Chicago to hear what he thinks. Chuck, what's going on, pal?
Big Chuck.
Hey, they started to doubt us after we lost to the Colts, but we had to go lay the smack down on the crapper base succaneers. That wasn't enough.
Yeah.
We knew that the Carolina Kitty Cats. That wasn't enough. But tonight on Monday Night Football, we're going to open up a can of whoop ass on the L.A. Rams. So you better hammer down on FanDuel. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Big Chuck.
Hell yeah. Boy, Chuck in Chicago. He's a big Bears fan.
Is that Pagano?
Chicago Bears. Could you imagine if that was Chuck? Listen, we're going to open up a can of whoop ass. Chicago Bears are getting 6 points tonight at the Los Angeles Rams. Big Monday Night Football action. Zito and Chuck from Chicago say hammer that plus 235 money line.
Hammer it.
Darius Butler says Rams probably win. Chicago Bears probably cover because 6 points is too much. That does feel like an interesting line, though, now that I think about it. Because if you look at the Bears the way they've played, every game's very close, and they end up winning on the end. Mm-hmm. I wonder why the Bears are getting 6. That should be lower, I feel like. Why is it, Diggs?
I was going to say the 62% of the money's on +6 Bears. 65% of the money's on Bears money line as well.
Wow. So we're not the only ones thinking that, which makes me almost feel like
let's go Rams.
The Rams.
You might have to take the Rams.
Whoa.
I think so.
Feels like that's a big number for a reason. Not 100% sure. And I don't like to play in the line game. Like, why is the line where it is? I like to talk about the teams, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm going with. To be honest, I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. And I am incredibly hot at gambling right now, and I have no clue what this one's going to happen here.
I don't know if Khalil Mack is playing yet or not. I don't know if anyone has heard that yet, but he was questionable for tonight.
So that's a big news. That's a pretty big. That's pretty big news because if you look at how Jared Goff has performed against the Chicago Bears defense, it has not been great. Zito, I forget the exact stats, or Nick might have the exact stats.
Yeah.
I think he has like 5 picks, no touchdowns, 50% completion percentage against the Chicago Bears defense or something like that. So Goff has not performed great against the Bears defense, but the picture they showed was Khalil Mack riding Jared Goff's back. So it's like if Khalil Mack's not playing, is it still the Bears defense that he has struggles against, or is it Khalil Mack that he potentially has?
Well, another thing too, the Rams' only wins are what is it, the NFC East?
What's that, bub?
Yep.
The only wins that the Rams have is the NFC East.
Which, by the way, we all know,
not good.
Terrible team.
Very terrible.
Oh my God, what are we gonna do? The poll says Bear Don +6. Over 12,000 votes on Zito's poll.
Massive.
They say the Bears. I honestly don't know how this one goes. I don't know.
You know where it's going.
What does a guy call his best friends? His testes besties, of course. Halloween is right around the corner, and you don't want to spook someone with your scary bush. Nope. Our friends at Manscaped, shout out to Ian Rappaport, want to help you make your boys downstairs clean and best friends of their own. Manscaped is the #1 in men's below-the-waist grooming and offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels.
Wow.
Listen to this one. Rawr. You might be Chewbacca, Bigfoot, or a hairy bear, but it's what's under the costume that really matters. Don't be the hairy guy. Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0. Inside the Perfect Package, you'll find their electric trimmer called the Lawnmower 3.0. This is a waterproof and skin-safe trimmer that will reduce nicks to your pumpkins. You can also create less mess by trimming in the shower or using their Magic Mat disposable shaving mats. And of course, let's not forget about the Prop Preserver, the Crop Reviver, and also while you're there, go ahead and pick up the Weed Whacker and get 20% off and free shipping with the code PATM at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code PATM at manscaped.com. Stay sexy this Halloween. Your balls will thank you. Shout out to Manscaped. Shout out to Ian Rappaport. Shout out to you. We'll be back on the other side with AJ Hawk, and Matt Hasselbeck will join us. Go take a shit. I like the Panthers as well, +7.5, strictly because of Emmanuel Sanders, Michael Thomas. I feel like there's a little beef. This suspension of Michael Thomas for being disrespectful to the coach makes me feel like there is potentially some shit stirring down in the locker room. 7.5 is a lot of points for that Carolina Panthers team, who seems to play everybody pretty close. Matt Rule seems to have that DNA. I'm not 100% sure. The Saints could just absolutely do this thing. It just doesn't feel like it. To me, 7.5 is a good number there. I also like the Pittsburgh Steelers, +1.5.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is, whenever we get past this season and look back on it, will be historically talked about. I think they are that type of defense. They are game wreckers, Paisan.
I agree. They're good.
And I also like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, -4.5 against the Las Vegas Raiders, where they play that on Sunday, or if another positive test comes tomorrow, they play it on Monday or Tuesday. I think that Todd Bowles defense knows exactly what they're fucking doing now at this point. And I think Tom Brady with Gronk back, 100 yards receiving, touchdown, all that stuff, the Gronk being back is a massive ordeal. And I like the Cardinals +3.5 at home against Russell Wilson.
Don't back down from it. I mean, I wouldn't take it with Russell Wilson, but my power rankings say the Cardinals should be the favorite in the game.
Okay, that makes me feel good, because when your power rankings and I are on the same side, good things happen, much like what happened last night. I like the Cardinals +3.5 at home against Seahawks. Well, hello, sensual piano keys. You sound incredibly inspirational and motivational. Big announcement coming from our company. You know, throughout my entire life, I've made decisions that people have said, "Ooh, that is stupid." You've read about them, you heard about them. When I was in high school, I went to an underground poker game, won $1,400, flew myself down to Miami, won a kicking contest, and got a scholarship to West Virginia the next day. I turned my back on soccer that day. Everybody said, "You're an idiot. Why are you doing that? You have more schools looking at you for soccer than you do for football. What are you thinking?" Fast forward 8 years with the Indianapolis Colts, and I was on top of the world, top of the mountain. How's the view? Not too shabby. And when I was at the top of my game, I decided, you know what? I'm going to pursue some other stuff. My friends and I are going to go to work on the internet. We're going to try to chase fulfillment as opposed to just a paycheck. And there were some interesting responses from people of power in the sporting world.
Make them tear the uniform off of you.
Sure.
Look, somebody needs to stage an intervention. People who know this guy, get to him now. Make him put his helmet back on and get to camp.
Oh no, there's no intervention, Wilbon. No. Here we are 3 years after that date, and it's a celebration, bitches! Cut the music! Let's hand out some bags to the boys. For the boys. For the boys.
By the way, that's for you, brother. Oh my God.
Are you home?
All right, come out the front door.
What's up, dude?
What is this?
What's this?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
What the fuck? Fuck you. Oh, yeah. That is the bag of money.
FanDuel deal went through. There's $50,000 in there for you. Here's a backpack with $50,000 in it. Well, $50,000 in there.
Oh my God.
Yes, there's $50,000 in there. Yes, there's $50,000 in there.
Are you fucking serious?
Let's go.
You brought it back?
Oh, man. Let's go, dude.
Let's go. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yo, this is...
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, dude.
We did it?
Couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, thank you.
Dude, it's a fuck ton of money.
You guys.
When I asked Dan Patrick for some advice, he told me always take care of the boys.
Well, and you should know those people that are there with you, that their value cannot be overstated and should not be overstated.
So, Mike Wilbon, they didn't hold my jersey on me. They didn't hold my helmet on me. We didn't have an intervention. What we have is a celebration. Because when you bet on yourself, sometimes you hit for big. And for us, the only place we'll bet for the next couple years, in an exclusive deal, FanDuel backed the Brinks truck up to our office, and we have never been more thankful, more excited, and more together as we promote the greatest sports book on planet Earth.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good day, beautiful people. Hour 3 here on Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, channel 82 begins right now. Joining us for this hour is a man who is a national champion in college football and a Super Bowl champion of the NFL from the Green Bay Packers and the University of, the Ohio State University. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron James Hawk.
What's happening? You guys are excited that people in Ohio State football has officially arrived now that the Big Ten is playing football?
Big Ten's dead.
This weekend was awesome seeing Big Ten football. I'm going to be, listen, I understand that the SEC, it is different down there. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be 100% real. I went to a game down there. I went to the SEC championship. I've gotten a chance to kind of get baptized by the SEC folks down there. It is real down there, okay? Like, I will not ever disrespect the SEC visions of college football versus everybody else any differently. But Ohio damn near the same exact way whenever it comes to college football. Ohio State's the biggest team in Ohio by far. Doesn't matter how many Browns fans there are, how many Bengals fans there are. On Saturdays, they're pulling for the Buckeyes, okay? Yeah. That is what it's like in Ohio. But this weekend, watching Big Ten football, it's just having a Big Ten game to be able to flip back and forth to is awesome. It is beautiful. And Justin Fields, 20 pounds lighter, looks like he hasn't missed a single step off last year. He was slicing and dicing, AJ.
Yeah, he's slinging the ball, but thinking of like what's most recent on my mind is that Sunday night game last night that went late into the night. That thing was I wasn't expecting it to end like it did. It was a nice surprise actually to watch the whole second half.
How about the Arizona Cardinals? In a couple different moments, they could have bowed down, kind of like relax, and Seattle Seahawks get the win. And the conversation would be, Cardinals played good. Seattle Seahawks just show that they're the elite class of the NFC still and of the NFC West, blah, blah, blah. Cardinals are on their way, though. That could have been the entire conversation is like, the Cardinals showed that they got fight, they got grit, they'll be able to do it. And they answered. They made mistakes, and they answered. Kyler Murray answered. There's that one shot zoomed in on his face where he sees DeAndre Hopkins in one-on-one single coverage in a step, and he starts laughing while he's holding the football, and it's obviously a touchdown. Now, that play was incredibly awesome. I mean, there's a lot of trickery. Everybody's looking to the side as if they were going to make a play call change. They snap the ball while that's happening. Seahawks are kind of on their heels. DeAndre Hopkins, exactly what they thought was going to happen. He might be able to get a step on him. He laughs while throwing the ball. They answer. And in the post-game press conference, Kyler Murray gave all the answers that you would want from a guy. And I heard from numerous players last night that were like, the thing that isn't talked about enough is Kyler Murray's competitiveness and the amount of command he has for people to be great. That Cardinals team looks like an incredible team to be a part of and a fan of right now. What a game last night. You're 100% right.
Well, don't you remember when Kyler Murray was coming out, like when before the draft and everything, he went on Dan Patrick, had a weird interview. He just seemed like a quiet kid, and people are thinking, hey, is this the guy you want leading your franchise? Like, does he have the command? Can he walk into a huddle and command all of these guys? And I think last night, if anyone did have any questions if he could be that guy, I think he squashed them completely, because that's a game that Seattle wins. Like, it seems like 9 out of 10 times you're watching that game like, okay, all right, Arizona, congrats, you guys are doing well, you're hanging in there. But this is a game that Seattle's going to win, and Arizona changed that. So I think it's a huge step for the franchise and for Kyler Murray.
And it's not just Kyler Murray. I mean, granted, before every drive where he fist bumps every single offensive lineman, I love that. Like, that little thing right there, I'm a big fan of. Like, that's him showing at least gratitude and thanks to the offensive line, which he's going to need, obviously, in this world. But the defense, that dude, Buda Baker, I talked to Darius Butler last hour about it. He might be the most electrifying player on defensive side of the ball in all of football. He is everywhere, it feels like. Then you obviously got the freak athlete Patrick Peterson in there. You got some good players. Isaiah Simmons had a pick last night, first play he's made, I think, in the NFL. Hopefully this takes the lid off the basket for him. But it's just like the defense is also very good. Cliff Kingsbury, saw him all fired up. Normally, I think he's just flatlined. It feels like the Cardinals are a good trend. And I would like to say, I lost some money on them early. I bet on them a lot. Mm-hmm. I bet on them last year because I was very impressed with Kyler Murray. This year I saw him slow, high step, fucking do-si-do guy. I'm like, I'm back on this train again. Here we are. And it feels like they're a team that we could watch really rise to prominence in this NFC, even though the NFC is loaded with football talent right now.
Does it make you worry more, though, about the Seahawks defense, that they just seem like Russell's going to have to throw 6 touchdowns a game to win?
Yeah, Diggs brought that up to Darius in the last hour, I believe. He said, like, or maybe it was Connor, I forget which guy, but he said Russ knows, right? Russ knows that he has to have the biggest game of the weekend every single time he plays football. Like, he has to have 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, which with other players, we'd go, oh my God, massive weekend. Here we go. He has to do that every single weekend. And Ty Lockett, to his credit, catches everything. That guy is outlandish how good he is. Just snags, one-handed snags, deep balls, corner. I mean, everything. And you go back to that catch he had last year in that back corner. It's one of the nicest, nastiest catches I've ever seen in my entire life. But they know that they have to do that with that defense who can't stop a damn thing for whatever reason. Whatever the reason is. Maybe it's the concept doesn't work anymore in the NFL. Maybe it's the players. Whatever the case, they just can't. It feels like everybody's been able to have their way with them.
Well, I know it's not good when your defensive coordinator is trending on Twitter. I saw Ken Norton trending for a little bit. I'm like, come on, man. I don't know. I don't know either. I would have to take a deeper look, I guess, to see, like, what do you think? Is the scheme bad for these players? Do they just not have the players? And 98% of the time, it's just, hey, we don't have the players to match up like we want to.
Yeah, it's amazing how good a scheme can get when you got like 5 guys that are in the top 5 at their position. It's like, oh shit, this scheme couldn't do a damn thing a week ago.
Yeah.
Now it's, well, okay, we can do everything. That game was awesome last night. A couple other really good games. Titans-Steelers almost went to overtime. I mean, that game, battle of the undefeateds over there in Nashville, Tennessee. Pittsburgh Steelers remain undefeated, but that game started out Steelers clobbering the Tennessee Titans, and the Tennessee Titans come back, missed 46-yarder that would have sent it over there, but now the Steelers still undefeated. The Titans just finished their 3rd game, I think, in 13 days or 14 days, which is obviously a tall task, but that's because they had COVID outbreak in their building. How do you feel about those two teams? What do you think about the AFC?
I feel good. Like, the more I watch Ryan Tannehill play, the more sold I am. I was always kind of like weary on Tannehill. Even coming into this season, I'm like, all right, I don't know if he can do what he did last year. That was unbelievable what he did, and he's played very, very well. So I think they can get it done with him. I like the Titans. I think the Steelers, once again, are one of the most underrated teams that are just rolling. They're the only undefeated team, correct? Right?
Yep.
now?
Yep.
Which means nothing. It doesn't mean anything. And the Steelers don't care either. Like, all they care about is going and trying to win the Super Bowl. They don't
True.
care about the regular season record.
Well, it's only happened one time, 72 Dolphins. So everybody knows that it's kind of an outlandish thought to even like, we're going to try to go undefeated. It's like everybody knows that there's going to be a week where you're going to get caught.
And Pat, like, both teams, even if you're on a terrible football team, you go in expecting and hoping to win the game. Like, you're not going in saying, oh, we got no chance of winning this one. This is a see ya. We might as well why don't we just forfeit this sucker?
AJ, as a former middle linebacker, what did you think of Bob Night Train Spillane filling the gap, meeting Derrick Henry in the hole?
Yeah, this guy's got a barbed wire tattoo. He's got some long hair, and he is a body thrower, that guy. Number 41 for the Steelers. It is a electric factory to watch on the field.
He's fun to watch somebody just throw his whole body at people. That Derrick Henry collision, like, I watched it and I'm like, oh, and it made me jump. I'm like, and then I had to run it back from different angles because I wanted to see who all was in there, who made the first contact, how it all played out. It was a beautiful thing, man. Those collisions right there down there by the goal line are so violent. Sometimes they don't always look that violent. That one looked violent, sounded violent, and was very much. But when you're that there, like in a compressed area, and you have a linebackers running full speed from 5 yards back, a running back who's 7 yards deep, full speed ahead, like, somebody's going to die.
Yeah, that was kind of what I think they were both going for there. And it reminded me of, because normally with the sound, you can't hear it. In practice, when there's a goal line drill in training camp, the amount of grunting that happens, just the amount of like full exertion, like that's how you're hearing it now with the no fans in the stands. Whenever it gets down to goal line, if you listen, you hear grown men grunting down there while you can hear them literally using every single ounce of anything they have in their body just to push another human, by the way, who's doing the exact same thing the opposite direction. There is so much to be learned, I bet, down there in that goal line. And that's why I always took those plays off. You know what I mean? I didn't think those were always built for me. I assume you loved goal line, though, huh? You're a big fan of that?
Yeah, I didn't mind goal line. I would get annoyed at times when they try to trick you. And now in the NFL, they're tricking you all the time on the goal line, running misdirections, sneaking tight ends out, like all kind of stuff, which is fine. I get it. I understand the game. But
they're kind of making it worse, though. Sound like you said is making the game worse a little bit.
No. Even, I mean, like Derrick Henry, if you can physically dominate up front and win the line of scrimmage, yeah, you're going to run the ball. But that's not very easy to do. Like, there's not a whole lot of teams that can do that.
Patriots are dead, dude.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus.
You think?
It feels like it, doesn't it? I mean, yesterday was bad. Now, Darius Butler said something in the last hour, and I have said this publicly. I will never bet against the New England Patriots because I have so much faith in Bill Belichick, Ernie, and everything they got going on up there, whatever the case. No matter who's there, they've been able to win. But, boy, they don't look like a New England Patriots team.
They look different. Don't they look different? Even that one pick that they threw when he was trying to throw it to Edelman, he threw it behind him. Like, even that, like, everyone just looked off.
Well, not even that. I mean, you go back a couple weeks, Hoyer gets sacked, 3 seconds left on the clock, no timeouts right before half. Like, that doesn't happen on the New England Patriots. Like, that's not something that happens on New England Patriots. Then yesterday they do a bunch of stuff. It's like, this doesn't look like this isn't the New England Patriots. So whenever I say that I think they potentially are not going to be in contention in the end, I'm saying it because I don't think this looks like the 20 years of New England Patriots we have seen. This looks like a very different New England Patriots team that maybe just Just will have to, but maybe they come back and turn it around. I mean, maybe that's 100% possible, especially when you got those big brains over there.
Yeah, I mean, if we run the ball 50 times a game, then we have a chance. But we're throwing to Cheech and Chong. There's nobody out there. Our wide receivers have been targeted, and they've had 1 touchdown, and there's been 8 interceptions targeting wide receivers from Cam Newton and the Patriots quarterbacks. I mean, that's pathetic. That's the worst thing of all time. But teams that have started 2-4 from 1990 to 2013.
Here we go. We need this.
Have a 9% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I'm holding on to that 9% because if anybody can do it, it's Billy Belichick and Ernie Adams.
Is that his name, Ernie Adams?
Yeah.
They got no shot, it feels like. 9% seems high with that particular game.
Uh-huh.
The AFC East, though, who knows what's going to happen? The Bills.
You know the Patriots, though, Pat. If let's say Cam Newton comes out next game, throws for 315 and 3 touchdowns with no picks, and they win the game, we're like, Patriots are back. What do you mean? Those couple of weeks, that's not us. It's not who we are. We figured it out.
What day of the week is it? What day of the week?
Talking to me?
Yeah, what day of the week?
Monday.
But this particular Monday is.
Ooh, underreaction Monday.
No! Don't ruin it! Don't ruin it! This is Overreaction Monday. The Patriots are dead, bro.
They're dead.
And you should see what the Lions
I
are
don't
about to
think
do.
so.
The Lions are about to go on like a 10-game run. I think the Lions are about to just absolutely go for it. As a Lions fan, we have not talked about this yet, AJ, so I appreciate you leading us to this conversation. As a Lions fan, yesterday, you had to be 100% certain that if any team was going to do what the Falcons did at the end of the game, it would have been the Lions.
Yes.
The Falcons out-Lions the Lions against the Lions at a time where, is this a turning point for the Motor City?
Wow. Yeah, let me preface this by saying, Pat, the Lions, will they get God in the future? Yes, but I think it's officially time that we can pass the torch to the Atlanta Falcons as the biggest chokers in the NFL.
Wow.
Todd Gurley, thank you very much. Matthew Stafford, 1 minute left. No timeouts, marches down the field, throws it to Hockenson, touchdown. We get a penalty, 15-yard penalty, and I'm like, oh no, this is a 48-yard extra point. We're going to choke again, but we have the best kicker in the league, baby. Matt Prater puts that thing through.
I'll tell you what, it had to be a good day to be a Lions fan yesterday. And as soon as you see Todd Gurley stumble into the end zone there, which, by the way, not supposed to score, obviously, but there's probably an incentive there if he scores a touchdown to get an extra 200, 300.
If he gets 13 touchdowns this year, it's $500,000.
Okay, so, what's he? The Falcons stink. An extra $500,000, right football IQ move. You could see how he could potentially, I fell in, but I thought about it, so people know that I did think about it. That is tough because they definitely win that game if he falls there. Instead, he has an incentive in his contract to force him to want to score that touchdown for an extra $500,000 worth of money. But instead, he scores the touchdown. Matt Stafford walks down there. Well, that was an awesome finish down there for two teams that are probably out of the conversation completely for anything that really matters. But boy, it was an awesome. Maybe the Lions get hot. I love the Lions. Maybe they get hot. But that game was insane yesterday down there.
Yeah, the Lions proved to us that we've known this all along, that the Lions are finishers. They know how to finish a ball game. They can really stick the nail in the coffin when they need to.
The thing about the Lions is they have the greatest fourth quarter coach in the history of fourth quarters.
Right.
What?
I mean, we don't have to rub it in. We got to win. Let Detroit be happy. You don't have to rub it in.
We're not rubbing.
Building you up,
This is not satire, cuz. This is the truth.
Okay.
Typical
Lions.
We said on Friday last week, they win. They should probably re-up Patricia.
That's what we said.
5 years.
He's got to make the playoffs. We got the Colts now off of bye. This is very interesting, but I do think we've won 2 in a row. We can win 6 more in a row at this point. Make the playoffs 10-6.
We can possibly win 6 more, and then there's one game. Who's the game against?
Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, so you're already.
Yeah,
so there's no chance
way.
in the NFC North then.
Is it the last game of the year?
No, but that's not our expectations. Our expectations were not to win the NFC North.
No,
Our
Bears,
expectations are to go 10-6 and win a playoff game.
What do you mean go to the play? Like when someone says like, "Hey, our goal is a playoff berth."
That's
what. So my goal is to lose my first game in the playoffs?
No, we got to win a playoff game. I'm 26 years
me,
old.
AJ.
I haven't
But then
seen
I
a
wanna-
playoff win, AJ. It's been since 1991.
Okay,
the Lions
Foxy.
haven't won a playoff.
I respect you being realistic with your goal setting. So playoff win. So, okay, we're just going to get beat in the second round of the playoffs. That's our goal.
Oh, we're going to have even bigger hopes and aspirations for this team because we've already proven that we can get a win in playoffs. So let's go ahead and cut it off here so we don't get too heartbroken later on down the road.
Yeah, that literally is our Super Bowl, is winning a playoff game. I'll put it there.
Wow.
Okay. I understand. I mean, it would absolutely show progress, and that's what you want to see in any franchise.
Yeah, for sure. I want Matt Patricia to win a goddamn Super Bowl there. So bad, because he's been fired, like 10 times up there? He shows up on his ATV, people are looking at him funny, and then he shows up at our interview thing Super Bowl week. Awesome conversation. I mean, he let us into their building. He started drawing on a table with a dry erase marker, a new play he was thinking. I mean, I love Matt Patricia as a human. As a head coach, I could see how if he was the head coach of the team I was a fan of, you could potentially turn on him. But if he goes and just does this thing, good for him, and most importantly, good for Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford deserves it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you better hope. Well, that's the problem, though. They're going to be showing like a highlight film. You know the official DVDs they sell if you win the Super Bowl for that team that they run right after the game? They're going to have clips from this show of Foxy firing Patricia 9 times before week 3.
They're
gonna say like
this guy. Fans had turned on him. The city had turned on him. Cut to a clip of, we're going to lose 16 straight yet again. And then they're going to be, and what did the Lions do? Like the American lions in the mountains of Provo, Utah. They stalked their prey for far too long and finally got a dub at the end of the day. I'm proud. I'm proud of the Lions, man. That was a fun game to watch. Because that's a game the Lions lose.
Oh, yeah.
Just like you said about the Cardinals, Seahawks, that was a game Seahawks win. That was a game that the Lions lose every single time. To be on the other side of that had to be awesome. When Matt Stafford gets that ball back, Matthew Stafford gets that ball back with under a minute left, I think everybody potentially outside of Detroit was like, okay, he's got a chance going to run here. Everybody in Detroit was already like, pick 6 somehow. We're going to lose this even worse than it already is. Game's already over. We're supposed to win this game.
Tony Sick was probably on the other side. The Falcons fans are like, oh, we for sure are losing this. Like, soon as Detroit got the ball back, Falcons fans knew they were losing that game.
As soon as Todd fell one ball into the end zone, they were like, it's over. Fucking football gods are going to kill us now.
And there was a classic photo of the Lions defense actually signaling, like, ref, that's a touchdown. And Todd Gurley's in the end zone. It was awesome.
That's going to be used like 5 years from now. Remember back whenever they were almost winning and the defense was celebrating other teams scoring. I mean, somebody would take it out of proportion. Hey, what's up?
No, I know. Quickly, I know Gurley said that he's so mad at himself or whatever. Did anyone talk about, like, what was the communication like before the play? In the huddle, someone's got to be like, hey, man, we all know, like, they're probably going to let you score. You got to go down, right? Like, do you think everyone assumed it was known?
What did you guys call it? No moss in the huddle? What was that called?
Yeah, I think it was no moss. Yeah, we only had to do it a few times. It's hard to get everyone on board.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because you got to say it in a fashion that the offense doesn't hear you.
And guys get mad and start yelling and want to fight you. I'm like, bro, I'm just relaying the call.
It's coming into my
game.
It's coming into my
Let this dude score.
And then you got to act as if you're not letting them score, but you still got to let them score. It's a weird play. Did you guys ever practice it? Like, was it something that was practiced?
Yeah, I'm sure we did a few times. Yeah, we did, because the offense would always work on Fridays. They would do the old deal where you drop back in the end zone, Aaron would run around all over town, and then he'd finally just throw it in the air, and they would take a holding call or whatever I don't know. You remember who did that a while ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago?
A punter did it. You're talking about slow safety?
Yeah, they would work. We would work. You know, Fridays are usually the day you work on all that kind of weird stuff like that, 2-point plays, all that.
I had an awesome slow safety that I wanted them to call. So let's say there's 13 seconds left, 4th down. They've called a timeout. We have to punt at that point. We're out in the middle of the field, like 35-40 or something like that. We have to punt, right? Because they stopped the clock. We're up 2, whatever it is. There was a play that we drew up. I don't want to say we drew up. I pitched the idea after seeing we were practicing on a quarterback rollout to the right, then throw as high as far as you can. It burns like 9 seconds, 10 seconds off the clock or whatever. So I pitched. Couldn't I do that from the punter position, right? Couldn't you snap that to me? I could turn around, or we're up 3, right? Have to give up a safety, so we're up 3 at this point. I turn around and just start running towards the end zone, right? And I can see on the Jumbotron if anybody's behind me. Then once I get to the end zone, can throw crow hop as high as I can out of the back of the end zone, and the clock doesn't stop until it hits the ground, I could probably burn 30, 40 seconds if I really wanted to.
At least.
Okay, so I'm pitching this idea. I'm like, okay, this is what I do. Because unless are they coming for the block? Cool, just keep the offensive line out there. I don't give a fuck. Just have whoever you got to do. I got a 15-yard head start. Now, DK Metcalf proved last night that is not enough against people, and I understand that. I'm very self-aware that it's not going to be enough for me to run. But I think I could just catch the 15-yard snap, turn, run, and then whenever somebody gets close, I'll huck it up over the field goal net, and whenever it lands, that's when the clock stops. I was like, I think 15 seconds, no problem at all. We practiced it one time. I crow hopped and threw that thing. It was the farthest ball I've ever thrown in my entire life. Went into the woods behind the fucking thing. And I was like, I don't think the ball is hit yet. Clock's still running. And they were like, we'll put it in the playbook. Never called it. Never, ever called it. We practice slow safeties every single week, fast safeties every single week. None of it ever happened. Never, ever got a chance to do it. The slow safety is the one where, you saw Sam Cook do it in the Super Bowl against the Niners. Take the snap, you run to the corner of an end zone, then you step out before you get hit or whatever. We practiced it one time, like the first time in training camp. And I was just dicking around. I didn't know somebody was really going to come. And the guy got real close to me. And I was like, whoa, shit. I hopped out of bounds. And Chuck's like, don't you even let them touch you. Because if you fumble that, could you fucking fathom you fumble that? They score a touchdown. I'm like, Chuck, have a little bit of faith. I'll be able to get out of the way. He was like, that guy's not going to make our team. He almost just got you. I was dying. I started crying. All right, we have to get to a break. Matt Hasselbeck's on the other side. All those dumb little plays, though, you're right. They do get practice. The no moss one, though, that would put you in such a bad situation. You have to act like you're trying to tackle somebody, but don't get blown up too much in a sport that involves blowing people up. It works.
If the runner's trying to go down, you got to grab him and get underhooks and try to throw him in the end zone.
Ahmad Bradshaw. Super Bowl.
Yeah, Ahmad Bradshaw, exactly. Yeah.
Literally carried into the...
Yeah, but you got to think about the human there. Okay, he's got a $500,000 incentive on that, scoring a touchdown. Yeah. So it's a very interesting thing, Go down, though. Win the game. What matters more? Win or you getting that $500,000, you selfish asshole.
How about that?
Go ahead, Foxy.
And didn't that happen in the Indiana-Penn State game, too? And Penn State ultimately lost because of it?
Oh, yeah. Crazy. By the way.
Oh, man. Did it bounce?
I feel like it was potentially just a tip.
Yeah.
I will. Now, from the angle, you can't see. From none of the camera angles, you can't see. Because the moment that ball hits the ground, there's no real angle of where the tip is. I mean, that was just a nightmare. A litany of errors for the Nittany Lions to go down to the Indiana University Hoosiers. Joining us on the other side is a man who played quarterback for a long time, Pro Bowler, ESPN personality. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Hasselbeck. Go to the bathroom. We'll see you on the other side.
And the one that no one else took in here, I'm on the 49ers +2. I'm pretty sure the Patriots stink.
Really?
Yeah, the offense stinks. I think the 49ers are going to pack the box. I think they're going to force Cam to throw. I don't think Cam can throw to save his fucking life.
I said during the show I like this bet, but I just won't bet against Bill Belichick for one.
I think Shanahan's crafty. He'll be able to score some points against that defense.
34-28, 34-27. Those are always the scores.
Give me the 49ers +2, and it goes to Gumpy's bet of favorites minus less than 2.5 this season being poopy.
Yeah.
So give me the 49ers plus the 2.
And Connor in our office has been saying that the Patriots are dead.
The Panthers 4-1 against the spread their last 5 in New Orleans. Saints are actually 2-6 against the spread their last 8 home games. And let me take you to Teddy Two Gloves Town against the spread.
Please do.
30-10 against the spread overall. 13-3 against the spread following a straight-up loss. 18-4 against the spread as a dog. 16-3 against the spread on the road. 14-2 against the spread as a road dog. Give me Teddy. Give me the Panthers. Give me the points. And I'm done.
Patriots, -11. Hammer that thing as hard as you possibly can. I am a guy that moves lines with this bad boy. You know, me and this guy here, this hammer, we've been making money together for a long time. super, maybe. You whip out your hammer and you swing it, not only like a windmill dunk, like a son of a bitch, but you swing that thing to try to break the button on the FanDuel thing, and you hammer the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It finally made its debut on ESPN, and I'm proud of this fucking office store hammer.
Hell yeah.
I like them all over Baylor. Going hammer OT State #1. Hammer the Red Wolves, +5.5, -14.5, and hammer -34.5 for. Oh!
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Yeah, this song is a hit. It's a banger. Don't Leave Me Lonely by Late Night
Special Band.
Late Night Special Band. Joining us now is a man who...
If I say I had to go, there's a lane I have to go.
Joining us now on Overreaction Monday, October 26th, is a man who played in the NFL for a long, long time. 18 years, actually, in the NFL. Three-time Pro Bowler, quarterback, Matt Hasselbeck. Hey! How's it going, bub?
What's up, guys? Appreciate that 18-year. Every time, Pat, I appreciate the 18 because a lot of people who just Wikipedia me, who don't really know me, they say 17.
Wrong.
But as I've told you, that first year was 17 games on the practice squad with the Green Bay Packers. My position coach, Andy Reid, said, listen, there's no room for you here as a quarterback. But I will let you be on the practice squad and be in the quarterback rooms if you can play scout team tight end every day and block Reggie White. And I said, sign me up. When I was 12 in Pop Warner, I played tight end. I'm good to go.
How'd it go, by the way? Reggie White just eat you for lunch every day? Or,
He was a very nice guy. He'd be like, listen, I'm going to sit here for 1,000, 2,000, then I'll dish rag you to the ground. Make sure you don't roll up on any of my teammates. I said, yes, sir.
That's very nice. 18-year NFL vet, a man who's played multiple positions, including quarterback, holder, and tight end in the NFL. People forget. Matt, last night you watched Russell Wilson throw 3 picks. The Seattle Seahawks lose to the Arizona Cardinals in a game that we all thought is a game that the Seahawks normally win. And the storyline today could have been the Arizona Cardinals are getting better. They're a good team, but Russell Wilson's Russell Wilson. Instead, some, luck, I think, played in there, but the Cardinals get a big win. Russell Wilson now is being talked about having 3 picks. What happened over there? That defense looks like they can't stop a thing. You were a member of the Seahawks for a long, long time. What are your thoughts on the current state of affairs going on over there?
Listen, always great games between those two teams, especially down there. People may or may not know this, but there's a lot of people from Seattle who now live in like Scottsdale or live in Phoenix or whatever. So at least it was my experience. Every time we went down there, the 12s showed up, like the fans showed up. So there was a small amount of fans at that game last night, but from what I could hear on my broadcast, it sounded like there were a good amount of Seahawk fans there. But those games are always pretty epic battles with really, incredible finishes. Last night maybe was one of the greatest I've ever seen, so you talk about maybe a little bit of luck. I thought really the game management, there were a lot of lessons to be learned there. Icing your own kicker was interesting. Kicking in overtime on second down was interesting. It seemed like both teams had opportunities to win the game. And, we never do this in football. We do this in basketball and hockey and baseball, where you play a 7-game series. Like of all the NFL games I've ever seen, I felt like that was a game I would have loved to see like a 7-game series of those two teams going at it, because I'm still not sure if we know who the better team is. Arizona clearly won that one, but, there'll be another matchup later on down the road here. And, it's anybody's guess, but it was highly entertaining.
Hey, Matt, I just wonder how tough it is to play like consistent winning football at the quarterback position. Like look around Kyler Murray. He looks like he does things that nobody else on the planet can do at times, and other times, hey, he forces some things and doesn't look the same. Like how tough is it, I guess, week in and week out to continue to always play at a high level? We see a lot of guys on the roller coaster, it seems like.
Yeah, listen, he's playing good football, though. For a young quarterback, I've been incredibly impressed with him. He's a great thrower. He's not a good thrower. He is a great thrower. The talent that he has in terms of being a passer in the NFL, I would say he's in the upper half of starting quarterbacks in the NFL as a passer. And then you marry that with he's got, punt returner type speed or elusiveness when he decides to break contain and just be a runner. And then I think probably the most impressive thing to me is he's not taking hits. Like he runs more than Russell Wilson and he takes less hits than Russell Wilson. So I just think that's always been the thing with these running quarterbacks. Could they have the longevity? Could they have a 10-year career running like that? And I actually think this guy can. He was truly, really impressive last night, and he's got great weapons. He's got a coaching philosophy that matches his skill set. These guys are they're going to be good for a while. I just don't know if they'll be good enough this year, but they're certainly in the mix.
Did you know that Kyler and Russell both used to play baseball?
What?
Huh.
Yeah, Pat, I thought you did know that because you would have tuned into Sunday NFL Countdown. I'll find the footage for you. We went back into the archives. Rex Ryan and I, we found some plays of these guys playing baseball. I went back personally for Russell Wilson. He played second base, checking him out, like turning double plays, some of the disassociation, lower body, upper body. But also he's with the New York Yankees now. So spring training, he's over there playing second base with the Yankees. There you go, Pat.
Yeah.
Get your hip open. Yeah. Get it closed. Get it open. There you go. Disassociate.
Ooh.
Wow. Looking good. Looking real good.
Is that Yamansky or Tamansky?
Yeah, Tommy Mansky.
Mansky.
But in all seriousness, you see some guys who struggle throwing the ball off platform, or see some guys that if everything's not just perfect for them, they look really uncomfortable. But I would say the two things, the thing I see with these two quarterbacks is they look very comfortable in uncomfortable situations with their feet. They make it look natural. It's like if he spins around and then has to throw it, it's like, yeah, so what? I do that in the middle of the infield all the time for the New York Yankees. Not a big deal. Okay. Not worried about doing that against Jacksonville or a big D lineman from Arizona.
He does play for the New York Yankees every single year. Maybe if he played for the New York Yankees, they would have won it this year instead of sitting at home like the rest of us watching the Bubble World Series. Ain't that right, Ty?
No, you got drafted by the Rockies. It's a fucking charity case every time.
Oh, my God. Hasselbeck, did you hear that? He does not.
I did.
Ty's a hater, though. You know that.
Yeah, he's a great football player.
I've been to a World Series with Ty.
Yeah.
He is a hater.
He bought me a hat. Thank you very much.
That is. I did buy you a hat.
Yeah, you
Where's
did.
the hat?
Wow. Astros started cheating, so I had to get rid of it.
Well, yeah, they almost made another run at it. Matt,
I bought it for you. I thought it was a nice match. Oh, yeah.
He has it still at the house. He just couldn't wear it anymore.
It's on display.
The younger quarterback, Kyler, Russell, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar. I mean, everybody, it feels like very talented athletes playing. It feels like that, by the way, that does not mean that they're not great quarterbacks. They're obviously great quarterbacks, but they're much more athletic than it was, 5-10 years ago. Is that going to be the future, you think, for the time going forward? It makes the most sense, by the way. If I'm a GM and I'm starting a team right now, I'm like, okay, I want a quarterback that can his athleticism can extend plays if it has to, if something breaks down. And that's why, and I'm asking this question to ask you about Matt Ryan and Matt Ryan's future, because it feels like, okay, the quarterback of the future, like very near future, and if you're a GM, you would want to build around a guy who can do a litany of things with his feet and his arm. Matt Ryan is owed like $100 million over the next 3 years. He can't, right? I mean, he can throw the ball. Do you think there will still be a place for pro-style quarterbacks that can't move in the NFL, or do you think that is kind of a graduating class to welcome in an entirely new set of football?
Yeah, it's a graduating class. There's no doubt about that. Offenses are changing. They're using more of what they do in the college game. But this is a copycat league, Pat. And go back to who's won the last few Super Bowls. Obviously, last year was Patrick Mahomes. He's actually an incredible pocket passer. He passes consistently from the pocket. That's what he's most dangerous. That's what they got to stop, number one, with him. And then think about guys like Tom Brady. Think about even Nick Foles. Think about the guys who won the most recent Super Bowls. It's not necessarily that dual threat guy. The dual threat guy will get on the top 10 plays and he'll make all the highlights and all that stuff. And that's great. But to have that longevity and have someone that you're building around, there's nothing wrong with a guy who plays the style of, say, I would say Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow are two really, really good examples right now of two guys that their teams aren't winning any games. But I think across the league, you would say, hey, listen, we can build a franchise around those two guys. That's a chess piece that we can, we got that on lockdown. Now let's go build around it. And sometimes when you've got the dual threat guy, there's always this fear that that person's going to take too many hits and they're not going to be able to last. That's why I think I've just been really impressed with what I've seen out of Kyler Murray, because he's not taking those hits.
Hey, what is Joe Burrow doing that he seems like every week, they're not winning a whole lot of games, but he's giving Cincinnati a ton of hope, and he looks like, this guy is absolutely our franchise QB.
Well, they're throwing the ball all the time. Like, he's number one in attempts. So it's almost like they're not even – I don't want to say they're not trying to win games this year, because they're trying to win every week. But, this, AJ, people set out and they say, okay, our goal this year is to win the division. And then once we win the division, we'll talk about hoisting a Lombardi. Well, I mean, no offense to the Cincinnati Bengals, but I don't think they're really thinking that they're going to win the division. Whoa. I think what they're saying is hey, we need to make sure that we got it right with the first overall pick in Joe Burrow. And we got to see what we have. We need him to develop as a quarterback. And that's what they're doing. So they're throwing the ball more than anybody. The contrast would be someone like Baker Mayfield, I think he's got the second least amount of attempts in the NFL. And yet, he's got his team playing winning football. And so people just casually might be like, oh, Baker Mayfield's having just an okay year. And Joe Burrow's having this amazing year. But one guy's team is playing winning football, and the other guy's team is trying to develop a quarterback, and they'll worry about winning a division some year down the line here.
Interesting perspective there. Did not expect that out of you. I'll be intrigued to see if Baker Mayfield is a Cleveland Brown quarterback going forward. Obviously, they're going to have to make those decisions coming up. Andrew Berry, great general manager. Speaking of another unsettling quarterback position, and I've asked this a couple times today, one time to Ian Rappaport, fresh off a suspension, by the way, from a Manscaped ad that he put on his IG story. Can't win with it. Won't win with it. Roger Goodell said suspend that guy 2 weeks at least here. I asked him this. That Dallas Cowboys culture, locker room, seems terrible. I mean, it just, last week with the leaks to the media about, the coaches don't do this, they don't do that. It's only 6 weeks into a new regime. Organization didn't win with the last one. Then the Andy Dalton slaughtering that happened by Bostic, and nobody wanted to fight for him or anything like that. Is that time for a rebuild down there? And I don't know if that rebuild means McCarthy one and done, which is what Ian Rappaport said. I'm talking about in the locker room. And if you go in the locker room and you rebuild the locker room and try to get in people that you would want to potentially base your culture around and what your team's going to be like, does that include Dak Prescott in your eyes? Because I think he's a man who potentially made himself more money since the incredibly unlucky, gruesome injury watching that team perform without him.
Listen, first thing, I think Dak Prescott's the Cowboys quarterback. He's the quarterback for the long haul. I would be shocked if that ever changed. I really think he's the heart and soul of that team. It's unfortunate that he's injured right now. But, Pat, AJ, you guys know, like, leaders have to emerge in that locker room. Like, the culture has to be set. Like, hey, and sometimes you got to have those uncomfortable conversations. Sometimes something bad has to happen for you to get embarrassed or called out. And Pat, I know you're a huge, huge fan of players-only meetings, but sometimes they are necessary, and sometimes you gotta just take it like a man, say it how it is, and like hurt people's feelings, and just say, hey, listen, here's what's acceptable and here's what's not acceptable. And so far right now, you're running out of fingers to count of the things that are unacceptable from the players in Dallas. And it's easy to point fingers and blame the coaches, right? Like, they did that for 10 years in a row, it feels like, with Jason Garrett. Like, every year it was like, Jason Garrett's the problem, Jason Garrett's the problem. Well, like, I don't think Jason Garrett's the problem, but either way, once you fire the coach and the coaching staff, those players can no longer say the coach is the problem. The next person that gets like looked at with scrutiny, the next group of people is going to be the players. And quite honestly, like the stuff you're talking about would not happen on some other teams that I'm thinking about around the league, some of the better teams. So I just think leaders have to emerge in that locker room in a bigger and better way.
AJ, you're also a big players-only meeting guy.
Yeah, there's one thing I know that Mike McCarthy is not a huge fan of. It's players-only meetings. If you're having players-only meetings, it's gone too far. But I think we may have had one or two of them, though. Because they can be useful if they're not forced upon you. If the players really, truly want to do it, it's fine. But if a coach is peer pressuring the vets to do it, that's when it's terrible.
I agree. What do you got, Ty?
Well, listen, even to the point when there's a players-only meeting, and then there's leaders in the room who sit there and slouch in their chair, and they're like, when's this stupid meeting going to be over? I got things I want to get off my chest, but I'm not going to say them today. Then it's not an effective players-only meeting. Sometimes you got to sink to rock bottom, where literally it's so bad that you're not going to sit there, stand by and let stuff happen. Like, you're going to call people out. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care where you were drafted. I don't care how long you've been here. Like, if you're not living up to the words that you're saying right now, like, that's BS. I'm going to call you on it. And so eventually one of those players only meetings is going to be necessary. And, but you got to be all in. You can't be 1 foot in.
I'll tell you what. I've never seen a players-only meeting go the way you just talked about, but that would have been awesome to watch. I mean, that would have been incredible to see happen. What do you got, Ty?
Matt, when you look at the Packers, with the way they performed yesterday, do you think their performance against Tampa Bay, you can just write that off as an anomaly?
Yeah, listen, like the 72 Dolphins went undefeated. The Patriots almost went undefeated. I think every team, Mike Holmgren, you had a saying, we'd come in sometimes and we'd lose a game like that. We just didn't look like ourselves. We had a game plan we thought was good. It wasn't. The other team knew where their weaknesses were. They took chances. He'd come in and say, hey, listen, we played a stinker. That's what he'd say. He said, we played a stinker. We're not even going to watch the film today. We made a list of 10 corrections we want to talk to you guys about. We'll talk about them. We'll maybe walk through them. We're going to hit those 10 plays, and then we're moving on. We're throwing this one in the trash. It's in the rear view. Forget about it. And I just think that's what the Green Bay Packers have to do with that Tampa game. Like, they might get a chance to play them again. They played a stinker. Nobody really played well. Tampa's defense was outstanding. And it happens sometimes. That's the NFL.
Sometimes you got to bury the ball, Matt. Sometimes you got to bury the ball. Move on. Last question here before we let you go. Can't thank you enough for joining us. Know you're down in Nashville. Hope you have a great time down there. Stay away from the COVID. Tonight, Bears and Rams on ESPN, Monday Night Football. How do you see this one going? The Bears are getting 6 points as a 5-1 team on the road tonight. A lot of people are eye-opening about that, probably being a close game tonight, hammering the Bears. How do you feel like this is going to go?
Yeah, these are two tough teams because it's like Jekyll and Hyde. You never really know who's showing up. And then Nick Foles has this like intangible that you're not sure of. Like, we pick game picks on our Sunday NFL Countdown show all the time, and like every time Nick Foles is playing, it just like throws me for a loop because I'm like, man, like this is the same guy that threw 7 touchdowns in a game and set an NFL record. But then there's other times I'm like, man, that was almost a sack fumble. So I would just say this about the Rams defense. They don't line up. They don't try to trick you. They line up. It's cover 1, cover 3, or quarters. It's pretty much what they do. And they just say, our athletes are better than yours. We've got a better D-line. We've got better secondary. We've got better linebackers. We're just going to go play ball. So I think it's an advantage for the offensive coaching staff scheme-wise. But I guess the question you got to ask yourself is that scheme, can you block up Aaron Donald in that scheme? Because you can drop all the fancy pass plays in the world, but if you're on your back, it doesn't matter. So I didn't give you an answer, but this is a tough one.
Yeah, by the way, I'm struggling with this one as well, and I'm very hot right now gambling. I don't know who to pick because just like you said, I don't know which team's going to show up.
Well, I'll just say this. With the NFC, you're looking at the playoff picture. Like, some of these teams got to emerge, right? Because there's too many teams that are right in the thick of it. And then the NFC East, which is like, they get a playoff. I said this on the show. This is like being the valedictorian of summer school. Like, somebody's getting in. Like, their first place is like, that shouldn't count, but it does count. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, like, one of these teams like San Francisco or Detroit or Chicago or the Rams or Arizona, they could get bounced from this playoff picture for someone like Philly or Dallas or the football team. I mean, it's just a wild year, man.
Oh, you don't like that Ron Rivera finished up his chemo treatment today?
Whoa. Dude, what the hell?
Is that what you just said right there? That's wild.
Listen, he might be hosting a playoff game. The Washington football team might be hosting the playoff game. Yeah. And teams like Detroit or San Fran or Arizona or Chicago, like some other team won't be. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm happy that Ron Rivera got through his battle with leukemia. Ladies and gentlemen, joining, you don't deserve to go out like that, but we have to.
But we love Ron Rivera.
We love Ron. We love Ron Rivera.
Ron.
We do for sure.
We love
Ron. A lot of respect.
We do for sure, including that guy right over there. Just want to make sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 18-year NFL pro. You can hear him on NFL Sunday Countdown. Thank you so much for joining us, Matt. You're the best. Matt Hasselbeck. He's so smart. He's forgotten more about football than I've ever learned in my entire life. That's a fact. It sounded like he hated Ron Rivera, though, didn't it?
A little bit.
Oh, weird.
I mean, you kind of put that on him. No, I don't think.
What do you mean?
I did? No. Come on,
He
dude.
said they may be hosting, Ron Rivera may be hosting a playoff game. That doesn't sound like he doesn't like Ron Rivera.
All right, let's go to Mr. Sexy in Iowa. What's going on, Mr. Sexy?
Hey. Yep, and I'm a teacher, so that's why I'm Mr. Sexy.
Can't have that. Can't have that. I go to
Oh, God.
where a couple of us went to high school. That was a problem. Okay.
Can't have it.
Don't need somebody from Iowa calling in the goddamn show.
Jesus.
Saying the same thing.
I mean, why are you looking at me for?
What the hell's
Iowa.
going on over
This guy's
there?
probably some hayseed. I don't know what to tell you.
Let's go to Zach in Arizona. What's that, AJ?
Why would that make sense to us? Well, I'm a teacher. That's why my name's Mr. Sexy. How would that?
I think he tried to just sabotage the show right there and say, "Hey, I'm a pedophile." That's what he just tried to do. Let's go to Zach in Arizona. What's going on, Zach? Shout out to Sports.
Hey, what's
Show.
up, guys?
Well, we're kind of reeling off this pedophile call that we just got. What do you want to talk about, pal?
Well, it's not pedophile related. I promise that.
Good news. Good news.
job.
But so with the signing of AB in Tampa Bay, does that kind of open up then for Josh Gordon out in Seattle?
I don't know how those two tied together, other than the fact that Antonio Brown did not sign with Seattle and ended up signing with Tampa instead. I think Josh Gordon out of the game for a lot of different reasons for Antonio Brown, but Antonio Brown also a different level wide receiver than Josh Gordon. So, I mean, I don't think yes, they play the same position. I don't think they go hand in hand. The fact that Antonio Brown's going to that Tampa Bay team, though, is wild because – I mean, that team looks like they're just hitting their stride, and now they get a chance to get one of the most explosive players to ever play football all of a sudden who looks like he's in better shape than ever. I mean, this is potentially problematic for the entire NFC for sure.
Yeah, I would say I don't know why Bruce Arians has to continue to come out and just say things about Tom. When he said Tom had nothing to do with Antonio Brown signing, then Tom has to speak on it, and Tom says he doesn't really say much at all about Antonio. Like, what are we doing here?
We have the entire clip. Let's play that right now. Bruce Arians was asked about Antonio Brown after the game yesterday.
Hey, Coach, you had previously said that Antonio Brown wasn't a fit for your locker room. I know circumstances have changed with all these injuries and everything. What gives you the confidence that you feel like he will be able to fit in with your group now and some of the off-the-field issues that he's run into won't be a problem with in Tampa?
Yeah, I think he's matured, and I believe in second chances. Everybody wants to say that Tom picked him Tom didn't have anything to do with it. This was something Jason and I've been talking for a couple of weeks ever since the injuries.
Everybody's
to
getting
our
credit
other guys.
everywhere, huh?
And when the time was right, would we see if we could pull the trigger and fit it into what we want to get done? And we'll see. I mean, we have nothing. If Antonio does what I think he's going to do, he's going to be fine.
Okay, and then he goes on to say that if he gets in trouble or anything like that, he's gone, basically, after being asked about Antonio Brown in the allegations that are still pending a court case, I believe, coming up here in like a month. But if you listen to BA, though, I hear what everybody's saying about Tom doing this, Tom doing that. Whose team is this? I love that Bruce did that. However, I don't think it matters to Tom. Your credit, my credit. Let's get a guy that I love throwing a football to in this building. Let's keep it going. I don't know how this is going to pan out. Is there enough balls to go around for all those athletes? We're going to find out, and I think Tom's the right guy to figure it out.
Yeah, Tom's the right guy to hold him in check. Like, you're not going to have any wideouts, go crazy and freak out, are you, with Tom Brady? Does he have any? Is there any past situations like that where he had receivers freak out and Tom didn't just cut him instantly?
I feel like Tom is. I feel like he's involved enough where if somebody starts freaking out, he'll give him the old, hey, let's go ahead and figure this out together type teammate. Everybody talks about how good of a teammate he is. Like, he's a good teammate, he's a good teammate, he's a good teammate. But he's also Tom Brady. So if Tom Brady looks at you while you're doing something and goes like, hey, you want to play here still, or you want to get the fuck out of here? I assume that is potentially something that happens. But if you have everybody focused on one goal, which is the Super Bowl, I don't think anybody cares how many balls they get as long as they're winning games.
Are the Bucks also now uncompete-withable?
I don't know, because we haven't seen what this is going to. Their defense is unbelievable.
Yeah,
just like Kansas City Chiefs defense, by the way, not getting enough credit. They're unbelievable as well. But that defense is figuring it out. They were problematic for Derek Carr yesterday. If that offense can figure out how to utilize all those weapons, and I assume they'll be able to, Byron Leftwich, Bruce Arians, Tom Brady, putting their big old brains together, Clyde Christensen, quarterback coach, that team is going to be scary, AJ. Absolutely scary. You have any final thoughts for the beautiful people listening at Mad Dog Sports Radio, AJ?
I'm just wondering, is AB getting any heat for trying to join a super team? And are people Bucks because you're trying to build this super team that people get mad at NBA players for?
I completely forgot about that. I mean, is he taking the easy way out?
Sounds like it.
Shocker.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was a company co-founded by Ray J and celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Melissa Etheridge, Brandy, J.R. Smith, Mike Tyson, Rich the Kid, the list goes on, are absolutely obsessed with it. And that company is called Raycons. Raycon offers wireless earbuds in a range of fun colors and patterns that are half the price of the super expensive ones that sound the exact same. They're super comfortable and come with a variety of fit options. Whenever they arrive, they come in a little package. And if you have weird sized ears, you can pick the different size that go in there. So you have a nice noise isolating fit from your friends at Raycon with no stupid dangling wires or stems out there. Raycon earbuds start about half the price of any other premium wireless earbud in the market, and they sound just as amazing. Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are the best ones yet. 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more boom boom, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating fit. Go to buyraycon.com/sports talk, no space there, for 15% off your order. This show is brought to you by Raycon, and your ears will thank us. Big thanks to all the guests today: Travis Kelce, Ian Rappaport, Matt Hasselbeck, AJ Hawk, Darius Butler. Big Monday Night Football game. I'll give my exact pick on Hammer Don at 3:30. AJ, boys, from all of us to all of you, I believe Judge Torrey's next. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. AJ?
What's up?
I have a conversation coming up with a YouTuber named Samuel Brown here in a couple moments. I don't know if you know anything about that. So do you want to stick around for that? Do you want to give any final thoughts? Do you want to bounce?
I mean, I'll probably just jump off here. I'm not sure exactly what you need and why you would want me.
Come on,
as
dude.
third wheel on that.
No, yeah, no third wheel. I'm going to run to the bathroom.
What's it
for? So he got kind of catfished into thinking he was going to come onto our show last week. Somebody texted him from a phone generated number. It was a green text message, and asked him to come on the show, acting as if they were Zito. He then thought he was coming on the show. He did not come on the show. We called out the fact that we apologize for it happening to him, but we think he got trolled by somebody, which he did, which is fucked up. Then he made a reaction video, blah, 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 the whole thing come and go. So I just kind of want to put an end to it and let him know, like, we got no beef with him at all. We got no problem. And we were not a part of this at all. So I'm just going to have a conversation with him basically and be like, yo, we had no parts of this, pal. We actually appreciate the Troy Polamalu question, but we just want to kind of talk to him, kind of talk it out, like adults.
Sounds good. I look forward to watching it when Zito puts it up.
It'll be live here in about 3 minutes. I'm going to go to the bathroom. AJ, you're the best, pal.
You're the best.
Hey, did he hang up?
No, I'm right here. What's up?
Did Marshall win this weekend?
Yeah, they did.
How about that Grant Wells kid, the quarterback? He's stud.
He's a stud. He didn't have as good a game as he normally does. Marshall was really good, though.
Maybe he stinks. How did he end up? Did you ask him? Did you ask him how he ended up in Marshall and not at West Virginia? Because he's a kid from West Virginia, and he's this unbelievable quarterback.
I didn't. Now with COVID, we don't really get to talk to the players right now.
That's a shame.
Well, how are you supposed to be prepared?
Well, how are you calling games? You don't know any of these kids.
We Zoom. Yeah, we got to get all your info from the coaches over Zoom, like we do.
Wow. Doc Holliday, how was that convo? He's
the man.
He is the man. He's a good guy.
My buddy's the strength coach there, and he's like, yeah. Yep. Like Doc said, they had a big layoff between like COVID and situation. And we said, did you give him how do you work the schedule? How do you give him time off? He's like, we had one day. I had one day, and then we just hit the rest of them. Like Doc doesn't care. Like he does not care, and his team. Yeah, it works for them, that's for sure.
Yeah, they got some dogs down there. All right, AJ, we appreciate you. We'll see you manana for Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. You're the best.
Hey, guys.
All right, I'm going to go to the bathroom. We'll be back on the other side. Samuel Brown, RBT. I don't know if that's part of his name or if that's just his thing. We'll talk to him on the other side.
And the one that no one else took in here, I'm on the 49ers +2. I'm pretty sure the Patriots stink.
Really?
Yeah, the offense stinks. I think the 49ers are going to pack the box. I think they're going to force Cam to throw. I don't think Cam can throw to save his fucking life.
I said during the show I like this bet, but I just won't bet against Bill Belichick for one.
I think Shanahan's crafty. He'll be able to score some points against that defense.
34-28, 34-27. Those are always the scores.
Give me the 49ers +2, and it goes to Gumpy's bet of favorites minus less than 2.5 this season being poopy.
Yeah.
So give me the 49ers +2.
And Connor in our office has been saying that the Patriots are dead.
The Panthers 4-1 against the spread their last 5 in New Orleans. Saints are actually 2-6 against the spread their last 8 home games. And let me take you to Teddy Two Gloves Town against the spread.
Please do.
30-10 against the spread overall. 13-3 against the spread following a straight-up loss. 18-4 against the spread as a dog. 16-3 against the spread on the road. 14-2 against the spread as a road dog. Give me Teddy. Give me the Panthers. Give me the points. And I'm done.
I like the Panthers as well, +7.5, strictly because of Emmanuel Sanders, Michael Thomas. I feel like there's a little beef. This suspension of Michael Thomas for being disrespectful to the coach makes me feel like there is potentially some shit stirring down in the locker room. 7.5 is a lot of points for that Carolina Panthers team, who seems to play everybody pretty close. Matt Rule seems to have that DNA. I'm not 100% sure. The Saints could just absolutely do this thing. It just doesn't feel like it. To me, 7.5 is a good number there. I also like the Pittsburgh Steelers, +1.5. Yeah. I like that a lot. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is, whenever we get past this season and look back on it, will be historically talked about. I think they are that type of defense. They are game wreckers, Paisan.
I agree. They're good.
And I also like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, -4.5 against the Las Vegas Raiders, where they play that on Sunday, or if another positive test comes tomorrow, they play it on Monday or Tuesday. I think that Todd Bowles defense knows exactly what they're fucking doing now at this point. And I think Tom Brady with Gronk back, 100 yards receiving, touchdown, all that stuff. The Gronk being back is a massive ordeal. And I like... I like the Cardinals +3.5 at home against Russell Wilson.
Don't back down from it. I mean, I wouldn't take it with Russell Wilson, but my power rankings say the Cardinals should be the favorite in the game.
Okay, that makes me feel good, because when your power rankings and I are on the same side, good things happen, much like what happened last night. I like the Cardinals +3.5 at home against Seahawks. Hello, hello. Conversation I am excited to have. Want to learn a little bit about this human. I have no idea about him, but I do know he was the man at the Super Bowl at a Head and Shoulders thing. Asked Troy Polamalu why he ruined my life. So from that point, I was very grateful for this man. He has a YouTube page. I believe it's very large. I seen it yesterday whenever he reacted to us reacting to him reacting to a text message that he got from a number that we didn't know or hear about, ladies and gentlemen, Samuel Brown.
Yeah! Oh, what a awkward intro that was.
Well, it was. I mean, it was very awkward because I watched the video. You know, I watched the video of you reacting to us, and I have a couple questions throughout the entire thing because from our side, you got to remember, you and I have never talked before, right? You and I have never had a conversation before.
No. Aside from the little interaction we had after the Troy video, no real interaction, anything like that.
Yeah, and I think that interaction was me following you and giving you a shout out on my show, right?
Yeah.
So never.
So, all right, let's go ahead and explain what exactly happened because it wasn't necessarily like I just got a text message, out of the blue. So I'm with a talent agency who I've been with for about 2 years now, and they kind of handle like 99% of like brand deals, appearances, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like same thing that happened with the Head and Shoulders deal when I went to the Super Bowl. So what normally happens is they'll text me and be like, hey, we have this deal for you. They want you to do this. You interested, yes or no? So just like everything else, randomly on the weekend, they shoot me a text, said, hey, we got an email from the Pat McAfee show. They want you on. I was like, yeah, cool, for sure. So,
okay, can I stop you there?
Yeah, for sure.
Who did your talent agency hear from, and who is your talent agency? Because that never happened either, though. So I feel like you're getting lied to by people that you trust here, and we need to talk about talent agency giving you a bunch of bullshit. You don't deserve that. Hey, you are a businessman. You don't deserve a talent agency that's probably taking a clip of whatever you do off the work that you've made, lying to you about this and setting you up to be in this position. Because
yeah, for sure. I don't think it was anything malicious. I think it was they're the ones that kind of got here. Because as soon as I got I saw what happened on the show live, immediately I called them because I was pretty pissed off, obviously.
Yeah, you should have been, by the way. I would be too if I were you.
It was a very embarrassing moment. But they said they obviously apologized, but they said there was nothing about the email that seemed not legitimate. So I mean, there's not much. Obviously, I was aggravated, but there's really not much I can do. It was just a really bad situation. But like I said, they told me to expect that text message.
Yeah.
So
did they give your number to the person that sent the email to them?
What was that?
Did they give your phone number to the person that emailed them? Is that what happened?
Yeah. So now this person who obviously doesn't like me has my phone number now.
Oh, hey, this son of a bitch, whoever it is, I hope you get a chance to find out who this is because this is second level fuckery now. They're going to your talent agency to get to you.
Yeah, so and it's funny too because on that reaction video I did about this, because obviously I had to come out and say something because like I had all these people, like when the show was going on and I was expecting to be on, I was getting hundreds of tweets. I had people that knew me in real life hitting my phone up, texting me and stuff, and like I had no idea what was going on because in my mind I was just getting screwed over, And obviously it's not y'all's fault, but I was just so confused at what was going on.
Yeah.
And then once I saw that happen, I was like, God, like I said, one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. But I got to thinking, like, after when I made that reaction video, I was like, because I know you guys did mention you want to make it right and wanted me on the show and everything. And I was like, I don't want to do something like this out of pity. I want all the opportunities I get, I want it to be kind of because of me and the work I've put in. So I didn't want to do something out of pity. But the more I thought about it, I was like, obviously this individual who did all this, they don't like me. They have some sort of weird vendetta out for me. And I got to thinking, so what have they actually done here? Yeah, they kind of embarrassed me a little bit, actually a lot. But at the same time, I got mentioned on the show. I made a reaction video that did really well. So thank you for the money for the guy that did this. Number two, they ultimately ended up getting me on the show. So who really looks like the dumbass here, you know?
Great way to spin it. Great way to spin it. I like the way you have framed that in your mind. I absolutely love that. And I'm happy we got a chance to talk here and have this whole thing out because, to be honest, none of us had any idea any of this was happening, obviously. And let me tell you my side now. I followed you after the Troy Polamalu thing just as a salute to say, like, thank you for doing that, right? We didn't really have any interactions. So whenever I saw the screenshot, the graphic you had your guy make, which is a very nice graphic, by the way, girl, guy, whoever it is, tell them incredible work there. We see that. I see that on Twitter. I actually send it to the group, and I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, did somebody book this? And everybody's like, no idea. And everybody was like, that's a guy from the Troy Polamalu thing, the guy from the Troy Polamalu thing. I'm like, yeah, I know who it is, but is anybody? I thought you were just cooking something. Like, I thought this was just a part of something. So I unfollowed you because I was like, I don't want to be a part of this guy cooking fake shit. Like I just like, I didn't want to give it any any credibility because I didn't know you, right? I did not know you. I know you from the Troy Polamalu thing. That is it. I've never talked to you. So I didn't know you personally. So then after this whole thing happens, I start following up with you a little bit. I start looking at your page and I feel bad, obviously, that you got. Like, I hate that you got or whatever. The thing about the video thing that I didn't enjoy was the fact that you told me just to DM you instead of saying, like, you and I have never talked after seeing that video. Like, First of all, I have like 45 jobs, as do you, I would assume. On the internet, you got to work your ass off or whatever. Yeah. If you were cooking something on the internet, I'm like, fuck it, this guy, let him do whatever he's got to do. I just don't want to give it. And then you got mad at Ty for saying, like, hey, take your medicine or whatever. And we don't know you like that. Like I wish we did. We will from now on because we've become fans. Take your medicine is an old adage as like, hey, something bad happened. Just kind of eat it and move on, which I think you have done. He didn't mean to make that personal because, by the way, we don't know that about you. Like, I don't want you to think we ever came after you. I don't like you making people feel as if we came after you too because we did not at all.
Understandable. It's very understandable. It's just like, at the end of the day, like, what a just awful situation. But, like, I guess for both of us here, I mean, me more specifically, it's just kind of nice to kind of just say screw you to the guy that did this, you know, because obviously he doesn't like me. But like I said, it was just a really bad situation. And that day when I made that reaction video, it was just like the most embarrassing moment in my life. And I kind of had to just kind of process it a little bit. Obviously, you guys had zero clue what was going on. But in that moment, in that time, like as I was watching that live, I'm just sitting here like, God, did this really happen? Yeah. And like so what I had actually thought had happened, which obviously like I wouldn't expect it from y'all, but what I thought had happened was, because once again, in my mind, this was 100% legitimate. I was told to expect somebody to reach out. So I was just thinking, like those few days went along, y'all were like, for whatever reason, decided against having me on the show. And I was like, whatever. So that's why I kind of lashed out a little bit on Twitter, because I was sitting there getting bombarded with DMs, with tweets, with text. Yeah. So in my mind, at that moment in time, I was a little mad because I thought maybe they just kind of ghosted me or whatever. So, but I had no clue what was going on until in that moment, I had y'all react to what the tweet and everything. So it was like I said. Yeah, but I just want you to know, like, I'm all about people. Like, look, I got 10 of my friends in here. We're trying to make it. Like, I'm all about people making it. Like the thought of what happened to you in the way you were like, hey, these people did this to me or whatever, because you were in the moment upset. Like, that goes against almost everything I'm about. Like, I want everybody to make it. And the amount of work that you've put in, so you can understand how I'm a little bit like, hey, I don't know this guy and I don't like what he's doing. It's just in this situation, nobody's wrong. It's just a simple mistake that just kind of, it's just an awful situation for everybody. But like I said, I 100% appreciate everything you've done since then.
No. We've learned about you, by the way, Sam.
Hey, you guys do an awesome thing, and no, there's no ill will from me towards you guys at all. Y'all doing an awesome thing. It's awesome. And I remember watching the interview you guys do with MMG, and like, it's awesome because to me, I love seeing
Papa Meeks
guys in your Papa Meeks. He's awesome. We actually he's one of the coolest guys I've been able to meet in person. We actually got to film a thing with the Dallas Cowboys. We got to play each other on the on Madden on the big jumbotron. And
shout out SeatGeek, by the way. Shout out SeatGeek. I was supposed to be down there. You and I probably would have met.
Hold on, and I just saw the ad you ran before the commercial.
Hey, keep it going, bro. Listen, I don't have mine on the desk. They're in my gym area. But I want to let you know, although our first conversation came through some miscommunication and stuff like that, I appreciate you coming on here, us getting to talk about this. And you have a new subscriber. I'm a big subscriber of yours now. I can't wait to see what you do next. Where are you from, by the way? What's the corn thing?
Oh my God, the corn thing. You know how the internet is. Once a meme comes to light, it kind of just sticks. And that it's just a long story that's not worth it. It's just a meme on the channel. And you know how people, when they get a meme, they just run with it. But I'm actually from Alabama.
Roll Tide,
yeah.
War Eagle.
Roll Tide, 100%.
Hey, Mac Jones is unbelievable this year.
He's been incredible.
He has been.
I hate it too because you see all these mock drafts, you see all these QB rankings. They have them so far down. I'm like, I expect this guy 100% to be a first-round pick next year if he decides to come out. 100%.
All right, I agree. Hey, I appreciate you coming on and joining us. We have to do this again. What do you normally talk about? What do you what's RBT mean, by the way?
RBT, it's something I've been doing this YouTube thing since I was in middle school. It's been so
holy
for
shit.
a long time. And over the years I was in college, it finally turned into a thing I knew was lucrative enough to do full time once I graduated.
Congrats.
But I've had this name since I was like 12 years old. It literally is just an acronym for my 3 favorite sports teams: Red Sox, Bama, Titans. And I know you're not a fan of that last one.
No, I'm okay with the Titans. I love the Titans. I love their football team too. They've
been such a fun team to watch too these last few years. Derrick Henry, you got to understand how excited I was when they drafted Derrick Henry, being a Bama fan.
Yeah, I could.
And I don't think I've ever been more happy to see somebody have success like that. He's been insane, and hopefully he can carry us to another long. And that's another thing too, because it's so aggravating because I was going to the Super Bowl, as you guys saw, with Head and Shoulders.
Awesome.
Titans were 1 game out.
Oh no! Yeah, they ran into the buzzsaw.
Yeah, exactly. And it also gets a little trickier too because obviously you saw I did the interview with Troy Polamalu. If the Titans would have beat the Chiefs, number 1, I would have saw the Titans play in the Super Bowl. Number 2,
Patrick Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes is with Head and Shoulders, so he'd have been another guy I got to meet and interview as well. So it was like two things kind of went downhill there after the Titans, lost that game, but maybe this year.
Well, you made the most of it, and I appreciate you. Just like this situation, I'm apologize it happened, but I feel like we have a communication now line. You can DM me anytime you want, and I appreciate you coming on, boss.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Once again, it just shows like you guys, you're all awesome. I appreciate what you guys are doing. Keep it up. Keep killing it. I love seeing you guys start to interact with, the MMG. You guys know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Keep growing. Keep killing it.
We don't know what we're doing on YouTube, by the way. That is.
Obviously.
No, we do not.
You guys used to have some awful thumbnails, and that's changed.
Billy!
Get dominated.
You got a guy stretching his hands back there.
Bill is going to show up at his.
Tread lightly, my friend.
Oh, no.
You just fucked.
Hey, you just made us all very happy, but there's one person that isn't. Hey, I appreciate you so much coming on, brother.
I appreciate you guys so much. Keep killing it.
All right, Corn. We'll talk to you down the road, all right?
All right, take care.
Hey, and to hell whoever did that, pal.
Yeah, for sure. Once again, hopefully this kind of has turned their plan completely upside down. So who looks like the dumbass now,
Bingo!
Yeah,
Roll Tide. Samuel Brown, thank you so much. Yeah. All right, that's the show. We'll be back with Hammer Don in about 14 minutes. The overall record this weekend for Hammer Don was...
You were 5-0, Lombardi was 3-0, Gumpy was 5-1, and I was 4-1, so pretty fucking
17-2.
Bingo.
Unbelievable. Hammer Down had that weekend. Come listen at 3:30. We've been giving out locks on top of locks. Big thanks to Samuel Brown for stopping by there. RBT. That's awesome. He did get got, though. I did not like the fact that he was in the video, it seemed like he was trying to paint us like, we didn't fucking do anything. I got it off my chest. He got it off his chest. It was a good conversation. We'll see you tomorrow. This has been Pat McAfee Show. Overreaction Monday, October 26th.